I've told that woman not to tell me what to do many times, and she just won't stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been a year. 2024. Get it together.
That's so
It has been.
2023.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. Matter of fact, I didn't even talk to I talked to Dan over the weekend, or the week, I should say. I didn't talk to Amy. She sent me a message, which was very, very nice. And we kind of start out the fact that the new year of 2024, I kind of talked about it a little bit. I think, Andy recorded a message and put it up on the site and all that stuff. But I, over the last 7, 8, 10 days, whatever the hell it's been, I was sitting there, every holiday, sit around and talk to people and think about, I love my wife more all the time. My children, Andy and Alex, are fantastic. The grandchildren. You got Fawny and Sage were just down here, and Ethan's coming down in about a week. So looking forward to that. This is beautiful time, right? It's the holidays, my family. You concentrate a lot about how much you love your family and how much you love being around them and all the rest of that. Well, unfortunately, lost a couple of friends over the week. Well, that was about 10 days, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Ian died when? He died about 10 days ago, right? Maybe it's not that long. Maybe it just seems that long, But that's the thing I'm kind of focused on is the great joy. With great joy, sometimes comes great sadness, and there's the balance in life that people who focus on only the negative are way, way out of line. You have to look at the good, weighed with the bad. You have this wonderful family, but you lost a couple of your dear friends, Ian Punnett. People didn't even know Ian and I were friends, which I think is kind of cool. We had that undercover friendship. One of the smartest people I've ever met. You guys knew Ian. I'm sure some of you did anyway.
I only met him. I never worked with him.
You never did?
But, yeah.
Well, I suppose that would make sense, yeah.
Everybody who had worked with him was so upset and just adored him.
No question about it. Just a great guy. Very, very smart man. Just a real caring, good, very supportive guy, too. He wasn't one of those guys like, well, you're doing this, so good for you. No. Everything you did was great to him. And, hey, this is wonderful and all the rest of it. So I'm thinking about Ian quite a bit during the week. And then a few days later, I get a call from Bernie Lauer, who is the director of sales for the podcast network here at Hubbard. And he said, Tom, I got some really bad news for you. And I said, oh, great. In other words, you're going to tell me Christmas Day or the day after Christmas, you have horrible news. So I'm assuming that AJ, Tevin, and Brittany are staying on the show. Is that what you called about? But that wasn't it. He called to tell me that Pat Ebertz had died. I believe he did die Christmas night. Because they found him on the 26th, actually. Do you know his children thought he was asleep for about an hour in the chair? You know how horrifying that must be? You're wandering around keeping quiet because you think dad's asleep in the chair. Well, it turns out dad is dead, unfortunately. But Pat and I were very, very close. And one thing I loved about Pat is this charming, sweet, loving guy who could also be an over-the-top, obnoxious asshole. It was just, I loved that about him. He had a huge personality, very, very talented. His twin brother, Mike, and I are still very, very good friends. Those were tough phone calls, I will tell you. A lot of weeping going on and all the rest of it. But, I kind of decided because of this, and I want to get to Judd on time this morning, no question, but the great joy I felt thinking about my wife and my family and my friends and the nice, as you know, I've loved Ginny Hubbard since she was a little kid. I love working with the Hubbards, and I think focusing on that great opening they made for me. All this great stuff was happening, and then all of a sudden the universe goes, "Yeah, really? Well, let me slam on the brakes for you by telling you 2 of your friends are dead." But I think. Therefore, I was kind of thinking about this over the last couple of days, since Christmas, day after Christmas, all that good stuff. So about a week now, I've been thinking about this whole deal. And I was looking at what my problem is with the world. And it basically has to do with people's very angry and severe and violent belief in a certain line of political thinking. The reason that even came up is because I watched a couple of things that covered Pat's death, and they got very political. And I just don't understand why these people who are very far right or very far left cannot get out of their own way. They turn this sad thing and then the joy of talking about their great lives into this political thing, which I have literally had enough of that. I like Democrats. I like centrists. I like Republicans, not so wild about the far right or the far left. But I have decided even I am going to embrace them. They've treated me like shit for about 30 years, but I don't care. That's fine. I keep making it. Everything works out really, really well. You're that miserable. You're not going to make me miserable anymore. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many hateful people. I don't want to live my life like that. And I don't know why they want to live their life like that. There are people I don't like. There are some people I don't like at all, as a matter of fact. There's nobody I wish would drop dead, though. I got to be honest with you. Oh, God, I wish that person would die. That doesn't make any sense, right?
No.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to figure out where I am in the world. As far as a job, I love my job and all the rest of it. Got a great family, all the rest of it. Dealing with the biggest problem that I do have is everything in the world, not just America. Everything in the world right now is very, very political. And you're being driven by people who are lying to you. I have been in my life as well. If you think either the Democrat or the Republican Party tells you the truth, you're nuts, because they both lie their ass off to get you to vote. They'll bring people into the country who will get you to vote. They want you to vote for. This is all about them making money. You guys do realize that, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I hate that, because this should be a time where you get to look back at your friendships and
Oh, yeah.
in
But they
positive.
had to get political, Brittany. It's a very good point you're making.
Yeah,
They could have left it alone, but they just wouldn't do it.
and I definitely have to say, I don't know. I thought about Pat the last 5 days.
Yeah. Yep.
And I keep expecting an email or text from him right now.
Exactly.
And it's making me so sad. And
Yep.
we're all just gonna miss him, and it just sucks. And I just want to make sure we say I sending so much love to his family, and
Oh, yeah.
that's why he woke up at 4 a.m. and sent us all emails at the same time because he was driven by giving his family the things he wanted to give. And I'm very thankful that I got to do the podcast where Pat came over and did the podcast too, because I got to know him better. And there was something very endearing about him in the calls and the stuff. So I'm sorry that it has to be divided in your head like that, because right now, it's already sad enough to be sad. I feel sad.
Yeah.
I miss
Yeah.
Pat, and I hate thinking about that he's just not gonna. The last message I got him was on Friday, last broadcast about Reacher and where he lived or something.
That Pat was big on that.
Yeah, I know. I was sending text during the show, and I just. Yeah, there's a little hole, I think, in our little heart of our show.
No doubt about it. Like I said, enjoy the people that you love, your birth family, your husband, your wife, children, grandchildren, whatever you got. And like I said, I like Democrats, I like centrists, and I like Republicans. It's the two far edges I'm not wild about, but I have decided to not even be pissed off at them anymore, because if they're that stupid to take something that's not political at all and make it political, I have no hope of ever gaining confidence in these people. You can't get out of your own way long enough to celebrate someone's life by talking to their friends about it and not editing the piss out of it. So, all of your ideas come through and nobody else's. You know how selfish and stupid that is, right?
Yeah.
And it's on both sides, both extreme sides. You're so incredibly selfish and incredibly stupid if you're that severe. Look, like I said, you be Democrat, Republican, centrist, any of that stuff works for me. And, I'll even get through life with you extremists on both sides. But I don't understand. And the reason this even came up is because I've been riding a lot of elevators, because I've been going out of town and doing a lot of business and doing this, that, and the other thing. I've been talking to people on elevators, and I asked everybody a question, and they all answered it the same exact way. I said, are you fed up with how mean and angry everybody is? And they said, oh God, yes, I am so sick that every person, they just want to live their lives. They don't want to hear your political bullshit. Calm down and live your life, be happy. And that's the last negative thing I'm going to say about these people. If you don't, you're wasting your life being angry all the time. These people are always pissed off about something, right?
Right. Yeah. There's not a lot in this world that you can control, but every day when you wake up, you can choose whether or not you're going to be happy and approach, life with the glass half full and be grateful or not. And so I think that's an easy choice to make, and more people should just go that route.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. And by the way, I told Judd you wouldn't wear your Viking jersey, and then you did it anyway.
Yes, well, we're cheering for the Vikings this week to lose because we want the highest draft pick possible. And I'm a glutton for punishment.
What the hell happened?
Ladies and gentlemen, Score North, Judd Zolgad is brought to you by Bialke Law Firm. Heard at work. Dave Bialke goes to work for you, taking care of your workers' comp injury claims and denials. Call 763-571-2410 or go to bialkelaw.com. Tell them Tom sent you. Score North, Judd Zolgad.
Close enough.
I'm telling you, Judd, I'm getting a little emotional because of the losses we've taken this past week. They were very good. Both Ian and Pat were really good friends of mine. It's very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
So Judd Zolgad, which I can say it when I'm not choking up, so that's good.
Yeah.
In any case, we can. So basically, Ian died, Pat died, and then my faith in the Vikings died to make it a threesome. You know what I mean?
That Vikings game, though. I mean, I understand if you lose, right? You got a lot of injuries. So do the Packers, quite frankly. But to lose to the Packers like that was I mean, I use the word quit. I mean, I think that defense made business decisions. I just don't. It's not like Green Bay is that good, and offensively, your quarterback situation's a mess, but that defense was pathetic, and that was. I think the Vikings, in the holiday spirit, should refund a lot of people what they paid for that game because they didn't get their money's worth.
That is absolutely true. I literally think, Judd, that they're going to have to clean house over there. Nothing over there has gone right the last couple of years. It's been terrible.
Well, I think the head coach and GM are perfectly safe, but they got to make a decision on the direction of the players and the personnel and the quarterback. I mean, that's the thing is they've got so many holes to fill now, but Tom, it's because they never want to take a step back to try to take a step forward. They always think if we can only, like last year, if 13 wins, if we make it into the playoff tournament, we've got a chance. But the reality is that's how atrophy happens. And unfortunately for the Vikings, that ordinarily means, as we all know, like 9 wins or something or 7 wins or 8 wins. And meanwhile, around them, Detroit's gotten good. Green Bay it looks like they have a quarterback. I don't know if Jordan Love is, the next Hall of Fame quarterback, but he's a decent player. Mm-hmm. And Chicago is starting to surge now because they tore it down. So I just hope the Vikings understand what probably needs to be done. I don't have a lot of faith they will.
Okay, Tevin, what position did you play in college football?
I was a wide receiver.
Wide receiver. Okay, so you tell me, how can you have not 1, 2, 3, but 4 horseshit quarterbacks? How is that possible?
It's mind-blowing that because you see other teams where the backup comes in and they're not Joe Montana, but they're capable. I mean, the Browns took Joe Flacco, who we apparently had no interest in. They took him off the street for free, and he's leading them to the playoffs. It looks like he's going to win a Super Bowl with them this year. But we decided to trade for Josh Dobbs, who failed over and over again, rather than throw $20 at Joe Flacco, who could have very well helped save our season. There's a lot of decisions that don't make sense. The good thing is we're going to most likely have a top 15, potentially top 10 pick. The bad news is I'm not 100% sure that we'll get it right with who we select. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's a very good point. Those are several very, very good points. The game 2 weeks ago, who was the quarterback again 2 weeks ago who tried to throw the winning touchdown and would have, by the way. If he had thrown the ball in a spiral, it would have been victory for the Vikings. That thing looked like a quacking duck. It was horrible.
Tom,
yes.
he threw 6 picks in 2 weeks. You have to try to throw that many interceptions in 2 weeks.
His problem is he thinks he's Brett Favre because he went to the same college and he's got the mentality of Favre and he's got my arm. Like that ball looks like, you're right. It looks like a duck that just got shot.
It does.
It's just sort of fluttering through the air at at approximately 25 miles per hour. That's the incredible thing. I am a little bit concerned though that the head coach, as bad as the 3 backups were eventually or immediately, I am a little bit concerned that the head coach couldn't get more from any one of them.
Right.
Like I gave him a lot of credit because he did from Dobbs now, but unfortunately that was when Dobbs didn't know the playbook and they were trying to make things up. But then it seemed like the more that everyone was integrated into the offense, the worse all 3 of them got. And Jaron Hall looked completely lost on Sunday, but I don't know, man. Should Nick Mullins have looked that bad? And why the hell is he cutting it loose? I mean, he's not good enough to. You've got to help that guy out. Right. So there's some concerning things about this whole thing, Tom.
So the amazing thing is, because, Viking fans, we go, oh, well, no big deal. Nobody else knows. All 3 games were nationally televised. That was the big problem.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't do well when everybody's watching. It really sucks.
You mean Super Bowls and NFC Championship games, Tevin?
Yeah.
Last year, I think it was the Cowboys game was CBS's main game.
Yep.
Got blown out. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, it's very us. It's very on brand.
And for a while, excuse me, I'm getting choked up here.
For a while, don't get emotional on me, Tevin.
We used to blame it on, it's primetime Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Kirk's been out all year. It's just primetime Vikings at this point.
So if the Super Bowl is ever at noon, regionally telecasted on a Sunday, the Vikings are going to win that. But until
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Actually, that's not true because in the 70s, the Super Bowl did start about 2:00 or so.
Yep.
And the Vikings lost all 4 of them. So no, there's no way to spin this age. It's over. Acceptance.
I have a question for you. So we're coming up on our 64th year, in our 63rd year, right, as a team, isn't that right? 1961 to 2023. Have they ever won a big game? In the 63 years, have they ever won a huge game? Not just a big game, but a huge game. Have they ever won one?
I would argue probably just the games to get to the Super Bowl would be about as big as it gets. But there's not in my recollection. We're more known for the missed field goal, wide left, wide right, botched this, botched that. That's what we're known.
Yeah, if you're talking huge game, I think Tevin's right. Like, unless you consider the NFC Championship games that got them to the Super Bowl to be the huge game. But I mean, since I started watching them in 78, no. I mean, they've won some big games. They've won some exciting games, but a huge game? No, they have not, unfortunately.
Even games that are like, hey, you need to win this to get into the playoffs. That would be, a big game to end the season. Like when Josh McCown and the Arizona Cardinals knocked us out and then Green Bay gave them the key to the city, like we lose those type of games. We don't win those.
It's true. Unfortunately, it's true. And here I am all these years later. I'm still a huge Viking fan. And if you ask me, I could not tell you why I am a huge Viking fan. They have done nothing but tear my heart out since I was 15 years old. Why do I like them?
Glutton for punishment?
It must be it.
I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with for us. And it's not just you. It's all of us. It's all of us that follow that. I mean, after that game on Sunday, if you're not disgusted, I don't know what would drive you away from this team. When you come out and play your arch rival, national TV, prime time, and again, no one's saying that you have to win, but, make it respectable. Hell, you beat them back in October, and you roll over.
You have to remember one thing about my life, too, because we're, a half a generation to a generation apart. When I was a little boy Tommy, We got a baseball team. We got a football team. We won the national championship in football at the University of Minnesota. You keep going down the list. The Minneapolis Lakers kicked everybody's ass every time. When I was a little boy, you said Lakers was like, oh, they're godlike. There's no question about it. This is what I grew up with. But the first 10 years of my life was nothing but success. And then after that, not so much.
And
so
then
it's my fault.
And then they moved. The Lakers moved, and you were like, oh, that's too bad. But we still have all these other great sports in town. I'm going to see multiple championships. And you're lucky, so am I, that we've seen 2.
That's true. And I'll tell you what, I was a Dutcher fan over at the University of Minnesota. Basketball. I was a big Dutcher fan, never won the big one, but those games were exciting. They were always a lot of fun. So at least they were entertaining. Mm-hmm. Most of our teams now are not even entertaining. Good God.
Well, the Barn used to be great. When we've talked about this before. I mean, the Barn was Gopher basketball was outstanding.
It was,
and it used to be packed, and the ratings used to be huge. I mean, it's almost hard to get your head around now, but Gopher basketball was absolutely. I mean, I always thought the Barn was one of the greatest places to watch a game in town.
Yeah,
it'd be rocking, and now it's empty, cold, damp, and and kids don't want to play there. When at one time that raised floor alone intimidated opposing teams.
It intimidated me because I've played a couple of pickup games on that court. It is scary. I will tell you.
Oh, I wouldn't want to fall off that thing. Don't get me wrong.
No way. But that was so much. That's where I met JB, as a matter of fact. He played the pickup game at the University of Minnesota. It's the first time I ever met him. But look, I'm still a Viking fan. I don't know why, though. I got to be very honest with you. I have no idea why I'm still a Viking fan. They have been tearing my heart out now for about 50 years. But,
Well, you've seen Super Bowls at least.
Yes, at least I saw
Tevin,
4.
Brittany, and AJ, and really me, because I was 7 when they went. We haven't even seen that.
I know. It's sad. Let me just say it's sad. There's no question about it. What is it about the state of Minnesota that we just cannot put together a win? We did back in the 40s, 50s, even the early 60s. What happened?
You tell me.
I got no idea.
You tell me. Why am I supposed to tell you? I don't know what happened.
I'm picking on Judd. Tell me, damn it, right now.
I wish I knew what happened. I don't know, man. It's unbelievable. It really is incredible that you can't how does the 98 team or the 2017 Vikings, how do they not go to a Super Bowl? How do those early 2000s, the Otts twins who won a bunch of division titles, how do you not back your way into a World Series appearance at some point there,
Yep. No doubt about it.
It's the state of hockey. We've never won a Stanley Cup, and we've had 2 teams.
Okay, I have no knowledge of this except for she was one of my neighbors. I never talked to her. She was a neighbor of mine for a while when I lived in Golden Valley. How did Lindsay Whalen, they fired her? Really?
Yeah, they let her. They basically said we're going to go in a different direction after.
Why?
Well, because they thought they were going to win with her. They didn't win enough in their opinion. And the new coach has actually had a good season.
Good.
But the problem is with a person like that, and she's great. I mean, she's a fantastic person and an unbelievable player. But part of the problem with that is when you hire that person to coach in a state in which they are a hero,
right?
And then you have to fire them. That's a bad look.
Yeah,
that's
exactly right. Yeah.
That's just a bad look. And in her defense, they hired her with no head coaching experience, not much coaching. I don't think she had really, because she'd just been playing, any coaching experience. So that was a big ask. And as we all know, that school is not exactly the greatest example of sports success itself. So
yeah, no question about that. I just realized something back when I lived in Golden Valley until I think it was about 3-4 years ago, something like that. My neighbors were Al Jefferson. Who's the pitcher that went to New York again? The really great pitcher.
Santana.
Johan Santana was a neighbor of mine. Lindsay Whalen was a neighbor of mine. We have literally about 7 or 8 people that everybody would know. Not one time did any of us ever get together. Isn't that kind of where it was kind of an enclave where, well, that's your area, and then I'll have this
My
area.
kind of people. I love this. Yes.
I
That's
knew
very
that.
on brand. Yes. Yes. I like it. Hey, what's going on? Don't come over to my house. I like how you think.
I mean, all these, well, a couple of twins lived in there. Never, I saw them, but we never, none of us ever hung out together. Oh, Skip Humphrey, he lived in the neighborhood too. No, I never even saw him. So,
You know why? Smart man, stayed inside.
I think that was it. But we'll get there. I don't know. Judd, I can't even say that. I don't know if we'll get there because these teams have sucked so badly for so many years now. It's getting really old. I will tell you that.
Yeah, I wouldn't assure that. I think you're right.
Nope.
I would not assure the youth of America and the youth of this state that we will definitely get there because it's been so damn long, and they all find such creative ways to lose games.
That's true.
Yep.
That's very, very true. But all right, young man, we'll just keep firing away at it. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Sounds good, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, pal. Ladies and gentlemen, Score North's Judd Zulgad is brought to you by Bielke Law Firm. Heard at work. Dave Bielke goes to work for you, taking care of your workers' comp injury claims and denials. Call 763-571-2410 or go to bialkelaw.com. Please tell them that Tom sent you. We'll take a break. Be right back. Some other hunyuck will pop on. I don't know who it'll be, but it'll be somebody, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at the enthusiasm. Look at the enthusiasm we got. No question.
I'm laughing at the gentleman coming up dancing in the back waiting room.
Oh, is he dancing?
Yeah, he was dancing hard.
I can't see him, so I couldn't tell if he was dancing or not. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of seconds. What's his name again? It's Egret.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
I thought 2024 we were upgrading to the his female counterpart.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Dang.
Stuck in the middle with you. Okay. I'm saying. Actually, I got to tell you something, and I hope you can't hear me. I ran into a lot of people over the Christmas week, and it was kind of nice because I was obviously down from losing two friends, all the rest of it. People love Chris Eggert on this show. They love him. Don't tell them I said that, though. Okay?
It's just between us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
right. Trust tree.
We'll be right back right after this. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk and not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You'll be glad you did. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I'm Tom Barnard, and I'm a paid endorser.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. You've all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows. The original My Slippers and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. For a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code Tom. That is a 50% savings. So go to mypillow.com, use promo code Tom to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code Tom for this special and, of course, many more. And now, time for me to introduce this very professional news news anchor, wearing a black tie with his white shirt. He's got his glasses on. He's got his hair combed. Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely and talented Channel 5's Chris Eggers, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, the lovely and talented Chris Eggers.
Good morning.
What's happening, man?
Nothing. How's everyone's break?
Mine wasn't great, losing 2 friends. So that was tough.
I saw that, Tom. I'm sorry.
But you know what? We've been here now for about 32 minutes and I feel much better already. So apparently I like being on this show. Otherwise I'd be going, oh, you guys are a pain in the ass right now. I'd be driven to that. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it helps to get back to work when crap like that happens.
I think there's no question about that. That's a very good point. Getting back to work was very important to me. And it had to happen, of course, during an 11-day break. So that's good. I can sit around and, twiddle my fingers and think about my dead friends. That's great.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem with that. So, well, I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad I'm back, and God bless Ian Punnett and Pat Ebertz. I loved you both, and you know it. So take that to heaven with you, or where the hell ever you're going.
I did not know Pat, but I did know Ian, and I was kind of regularly going on his show when I had just started here. We used to do a bit in the morning with them, and God, that one, that's crazy. I don't know. Just
maybe
sad.
we should, because you guys, obviously you guys all knew Pat and some of you knew Ian. We should do a game show today. And then Chris, you got to come back on for it. Let me do it the last hour or whatever. Who do you wish was dead instead of Pat or Ian? It'll be a great game show. What do you think? I'm not suggesting anyone. I don't know why you guys look so horrified. You guys hate that many people?
Can we choose ourselves to get out of the bit?
I don't know. Let me get back.
This sounds like a great bit, Tom. In fact, this sounds like something I really would enjoy participating in.
We'll work on it, Chris. You and I'll work on it.
Okay.
Let's
workshop that.
Who do you wish were dead instead of the people who died? That's a good game show.
It's a very good game show. It's a little dark, but it's a good game show.
A little dark. It's hard to argue. It is a little dark. There's no question about that. But so the news, we got a bunch of shootings again, and we got plane crashes hitting other planes and bursting into flames, and we got earthquakes, and we got, my God.
Yeah, the plane thing just happening this morning.
Yeah.
Haneda, which I'm not exactly sure. It's definitely one of Japan's busiest airports. There's 2 big airports in Tokyo. Yep. I think they're both insanely busy, but it doesn't matter. 5 people dead. So an interesting thing about that, I used to be the aviation reporter when I worked out in Seattle, because Boeing is centered out there.
Right.
So there's you misidentify one airplane when you're working in Seattle, and you're a heel like the rest of your time there. That's kind of the way the viewership is out there.
Right.
It's super wonky when it comes to that, because so many people are employed in the industry. Anyway, one of the guys I sort of started following, aviation journalist who I think writes for the New York Times now. He was talking about it's an Airbus plane, and it was made out of they started making some of the Airbus and Boeing planes out of a composite material.
Yeah. Yep.
So they changed the materials of the planes within the last, I don't know, I suppose 10 years or so. And he was struck by the fact that the thing went up in flames as much as it did.
Right.
Because it's a composite material, and it would take a very high temperature in order to flame up the way it did. Which I think that's going to be a factor when they sort of try to figure out what happened and how it all went down a little bit further down the line here. But Lots of other people are remarking about how amazing it is that everybody got off the plane.
Everybody did.
Think
Yeah.
about how much of a tragedy that could have been. Still tragic if 5 people lost their lives, but
because they landed, the big jet landed on top of a small jet, correct?
I think that's kind of what the way it's looking right now, preliminarily.
Now, Chris, how can that happen with all those people, air traffic control and all the rest of it? How could that even happen?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know what the air traffic control situation is in Japan versus the way it is here, but I know there's been all kinds of stories about it here that the air traffic control people are way overworked and underpaid, and that they're struggling to find people to take those jobs. And but I don't know. I guess that's going to be something that'll come out here as the investigation into that continues. So
very sad, very sad.
The big thing we are kind of talking about this morning here locally is just how, and the Wall Street Journal actually did a story about it over the weekend about how weird our weather is here. Like when the Wall Street Journal is looking at Minnesota and going, why don't they have ice on the lakes? And yesterday was one of the biggest, there's this ice dive that happens out at Excelsior every year. They go out in the bay there, kind of right by Maynard's, if you're familiar, or Haskell's. And they cut a big hole in the ice, and it's a charity ice dive. And for the first time that anybody can remember, there's no ice on the lake right there. And they jumped in off the docks, which was kind of crazy to see, because it's always like we would have a camera out there like every year of people jumping in where the ice, and it sure was. Now, most people who jumped in said it didn't matter. It was still cold as hell.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But, and then there's a dog sled race. Not the Bear Grease, but a different one that's up north in Grand Marais that they've got a bump ahead a month now, because the weather just hasn't really gotten, the way it should be. The Winter Carnival, St. Paul Winter Carnival, has a ice fishing contest that's supposed to start right now as sort of a lead up to the Winter Carnival, which is at the end of January. And they had to change on the rules on that because there's no ice for people to fish.
It's
and
just normal fishing.
Right.
Now?
You just put your boat back in the water.
Yeah.
There you go.
Super weird. But I mean, we'll all get it at some point here. I have every confidence we'll get all kinds of snow. But
didn't they say that this upcoming weekend it's going to be below 0?
It's definitely trending colder. I think they haven't gone quite that far yet, but I think they're implying that it's going to turn a corner a little bit as far as the cold goes.
But even at that, you got 90 days of bad weather, and then it's April. I mean, that's not bad. 90 days, a lot better than 7 months.
I will say, from just a John Q. Public standpoint, I'm not mad at the fact that it's been this way. I mean,
yeah.
But I do understand that there are all kinds of people who have a livelihood based on cold weather and snow, and that it definitely throws people. It can impact them financially, So I mean, I definitely understand that.
I would like to thank J.D. Salinger and Catcher in the Rye for saying it was colder than a witch's tit.
Is that from that book?
It is.
I forgot it. It's been forever since I read it.
You think about it, it's like, yeah, that's probably true. If there are witches, their tits are probably pretty cold, right?
Seems to stand to reason. I have no firsthand experience on that, but
right. I understand. I don't either. So, any other local news that we should know about?
Well, you talked about it a second ago. There's all kinds of like gun violence over the New Year's weekend, and 2 kids were hit by gunfire. Doesn't seem to be, they were not the intended targets in either of the cases. And one of them was somebody just firing a gun up in the sky to celebrate New Year's, which is so freaking awful when you think about that. Like, just kids laying in bed, freaking bullet comes down.
I know, it's unbelievable. I have no knowledge of okay, so you shoot a gun straight up in the air. It depends on, of course, the volume of gunpowder that's involved in the shell and all the rest of it, but it probably doesn't come down at the same rate of speed, but it's got to be terminal velocity, isn't it? That bullet falling out of the sky.
No, I'm almost positive that there's no physical way that if you shoot a bullet straight up in the air, it can come back down and kill somebody. I'm almost positive.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it can.
I always thought that it could.
I thought it couldn't. I thought that was the whole reason why they do that.
Were
No.
you the one shooting the gun in the air to celebrate?
No. First off,
It's your fault.
No,
You.
I thought that's why they did that in like cop shows and stuff, is like to break up a brawl or whatever, because there's
that's
no lethality of like it coming back down and killing anyone.
Somebody's looking it up. Chris is looking it up right now.
I'm positive, and that doesn't mean it was right. I'm positive we reported yesterday that it was somebody who'd fired the gun up into the air that hit I think it was a little girl.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm not trying to dispute you, AJ.
I'm an idiot. I want to preface that. So I am probably wrong here. That's just I'm going based off of like documentaries and like movies that I've seen.
I've asked you several times to delete, just back off and let me say that you're an idiot.
Okay, your turn. You can.
Hey, all viewpoints are welcome here.
Yeah, there you go. We came into what happened on the show today. Oh, well, I called AJ an idiot, but other than that, it was pretty smooth.
Par for the course.
So did anybody find any info?
Yeah. The family of an 11-year-old girl believes someone celebrating the new year by firing a gun in the air is responsible for a bullet hitting the child in the face. She was in her bedroom when the bullet came flying through the bedroom window minutes after midnight.
But that wouldn't be coming straight down out of the sky. Then
I'm wrong. I want to clarify. I'm wrong. I'm very wrong. I am so incredibly wrong on this one. So I'd retract the last like 3 minutes of this.
Yeah, and then it was a little boy who was hit in the stomach in St. Paul. It was a little girl in Minneapolis who. Yeah.
A gun's not a toy, for Christ's sake. When are we going to learn? Do not shoot your guns into the air, for Christ's sake. It's not a toy.
I have a friend who's fairly high up in St. Paul Police Department. He was telling me, I think it was last year or even 2 years ago, that he goes, if you look at the numbers, specifically the calls of just shots fired, he said that is the numbers have gone up incredibly. Not even necessarily the amount of people shot, but he's just saying from a numbers standpoint, when you look at how many shots fired calls there've been, that it's that's extremely noteworthy and concerning for people,
it's a huge number.
There was a video that went viral here in Minneapolis of sometime over break that it was 14 or 16 shots like fired consecutively. Somebody had taken a video because they were just shooting randomly outside of their house somewhere in Minneapolis. And so, yeah, it's out of control at this point.
I have a question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
Does your cop friend have the initials TF?
No.
It's not Tim Flynn. I thought for sure it'd be Tim Flynn. Big shot cop over in St. Paul. Yeah.
I am aware of who Tim Flynn is.
Yeah. I love Tim Flynn. That whole family, the Flynn family, I miss you dearly. We got to get together because ever since Vince died, I don't really see him much anymore. We got to get together, Flynns. You heard what I said. Anyway, so what else has happened? Is that everything?
Well, this was interesting. It's not the big story of the day, but I did think it was a fairly interesting story. Apparently, some of the car makers are toying with a new bit of technology in the car. You know, the cars are so smart now. They're just, they can do everything for you. It's Mr. Smart Car. Hey, look at you, Mr. Smart Car.
What do you think? You're better than me?
Yeah.
Life.
So you can drive. You can drive now. You don't need me. What? So
is that it?
A Mercedes is unveiling like a full driving car, like with more capabilities than there'd ever been before. Some of the other ones are considering adding a technology kind of like Apple Pay. So when you pull up to the drive-through, the car just pays for your food for you.
Nice.
Which is all right. I'm not completely against that one. But I was also, I don't know if you guys remember, it got me thinking about this thing. I think it was last year, BMW was trying to charge people an add-on to be able to warm their seats up in Europe.
What?
Like they had to pay a subscriber fee to be able to warm their freaking seats up.
What?
I think that's a real thing here.
Yeah.
Is it in the United States too?
The producer Ellie at My Talk, she fills in every once in a while. She's been on here a couple times as well, but she told me about her BMW. She has a subscription that she pays for heated seats, and if she doesn't pay it, she just can't use it's built into the car.
Yeah.
But if she doesn't pay it, she just can't use that feature. They disable it.
Toyota does something similar with remote starts.
Yeah.
So if you want to be able to start your car remotely, you have to pay a subscription fee per month or per year. Yeah.
I've heard of it with that because mine has expired, and it's been a great winter so far that I haven't needed it. But I was like looking at the forecast, I was like, oh shit, man, I gotta get that thing renewed. I didn't know about the seats thing being in the United States, but that's because I don't drive a Beamer. So I mean, that's
there you go. There you have it. Well, a brilliant report, I thought.
We can always strive for better.
We shall indeed. We'll strive for better work.
Always striving, Tom.
Always striving, sir.
Put that on my my grave. Just say Chris Eggert, always striving.
You look very professional today. Glasses, well-combed hair, tie, white shirt. Big shot.
Thank you.
All right, Pally, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Good to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Eggert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation. 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. We'll take a break, be right back, and wrap up the hour right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Be sure to use promo code TOM so we get credit for sending you. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them?
This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom.
I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow.
I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and well, car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
The new Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw and Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Show. Visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner.
Very, very negative intro, I thought. That's all I have to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. God, there's some news stories this morning. Elderly couple left with 25 cents after scam. Isn't it amazing to you how scammy people are? I suppose people have always been scammy, but it's God, it's just horrendous. People right now, and we're talking our politicians, we're talking our TV and radio networks, we're talking the newspapers. It's all about scamming people out of money. And I consider anytime they shove it down your throat, I consider that to be a scam.
Yeah, I just saw a preview because we went to the new Ferrari movie this last weekend. I saw a preview for this Jason Statham movie called The Beekeeper, where the whole premise is someone he loves gets scammed, and then he goes on a killing spree.
Good, love it.
I was
Love
like, get some.
Sounds like my kind of movie. I'll be watching it going out. It's in theaters, you said?
No, I don't think it's yet. I'll look it up. The Beekeeper is I'll look it up.
Yeah, so it's on one of the not one of the networks, but one
I think
of
it's going to be theater.
No, it'll be in theaters. I just mean it's not out yet.
Well, how did you see it?
No, I saw the preview for it when I saw Ferrari.
Oh, I thought you saw the whole movie. I thought, yeah, because that sounds like my kind of movie right there.
Yeah, it
10
definitely
days.
is.
January 12th.
January 12th, we got to suffer through 10 more days without the Beekeeper. Is that what you're saying?
Ah.
I love those kind of movies. I love those kind of movies. An elderly couple was left with just 25 cents in their account after they lost thousands of dollars. More than $60,000 was wiped from their savings as they fell victim to a scam involving Target gift cards. Oh, there's a picture of the woman. She looks really sad. What the hell? Yeah, show me your picture for it. Don't show me your picture. Nina Komatsi, it looks like. The victim's daughter revealed her dad, 77, had received an email from an account purported to be a Geek Squad employee per the ABC affiliate WSB. The note ordered the man to call a number to stop a so-called $450 charge. You ordered me, did you? Right there, you just lost me.
Yeah.
If you're ordering me to do something, forget it.
Yeah.
Well, and anything that just seems out of the ordinary. Like that's not how things are done in the world.
No. God.
About this. No.
Okay, now I'm getting pissed off because the next paragraph, the scammer allegedly threatened to call the FBI and cops, pressuring the man to hand over $60,000. Komatsu revealed her dad bought around $30,000 worth of Target gift cards. Why? I don't understand, because you want your name wiped from something. All of a sudden you have to buy 30 G's worth of stuff. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I feel like such a red flag would be you have to pay back the government, but only in Target gift cards.
Yeah.
Because we love deals and, come on. That's, I feel bad for the guy, but also, come on. We got to be a little more mindful about things.
Yeah. There's like a whole, talking about digital literacy that you have to take your loved ones, anyone older, and really talk to them about, hey, if somebody calls you, I mean, we have this talk with my grandma all the time, like, hey, if somebody calls you, you don't need to talk to them. If they're saying this, you don't need to talk to them. And I feel so bad because there's a lot of shame attached to it too. You get tricked by these people and you don't know, and things change so quickly. I feel so bad for them.
Yeah, what are you going to, they scam and go. I will tell you what, people don't even realize this, but Minnesota's scam rate is very high.
Is it?
Yes, very high. People in Minnesota love to scam other people.
But is it people in Minnesota that are scamming? Because it can be called from all over.
Yep, they can be called from all over, but it's both, yes. Getting scammed and scamming, no question about it. The fraudster then allegedly told him to relay the card numbers back. 3 accounts were drained of $62,900 that had 25 cents combined left, Komatsu said. Diane Durham, who's also a daughter of the victims, has created a GoFundMe page in a bid to raise money. She claimed my father was coerced and bullied into withdrawing cash. I have a question for you. If you're on the phone and somebody you don't know starts bullying you, why would you stay on the phone? Yeah, I'm going to let you bully me on the phone. No. Why don't you come over, come on over and bully me at the house. What do you say?
That's like the Tyler, the Creator, line. He's like, how is cyberbullying real? Just close your laptop. Like, why, if you're getting bullied on the phone like that, just hang up. Just hang up. If you don't like the call, you have more than enough power to just be like, yeah, we're done with this. Click.
Well, you're absolutely right. 100% right. My father was coerced and bullied into withdrawing cash, purchasing gift cards, and giving the gift card details to the scammer in order to avoid trouble. How long was this man on the phone, for Christ's sake?
Yeah, that's a very elaborate, kind of a terrible constructed scam for the scammer, because you have to have a lot of things go right to get this guy to give you this money.
I mean, it must work sometimes.
It does.
Like,
It works a lot.
there's whole YouTube channels devoted to people just pissing off scammers, and it is closest thing I'll get to porn in my life.
Hey, that works for me, though. That sounds great, actually. No, I think what I'd probably do if I had somebody like that, because they told him, you're going to have to do this to avoid, quote, trouble with the police and to keep your family safe. Once you came up with keep your family safe, I'm now going to track you down. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah.
Don't you ever threaten my family, ever, 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 because it ain't going to work out. I don't care if you live in another planet. I'll get a rocket ship.
I will find you.
I'll find you. I've known some people gotten scammed out a lot of money, lots of money. You know, there's a lot of times. Oh, never mind. I don't want to go deep into it, because even when you think you're doing the right thing, like giving to a charity, and the big charity is not what I'm talking about. These are always made up charities, but it says charity, so people kick in. Let's say they kick in, a couple $100. Well, if you pull that off on 100,000 people, you got a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you do 4 or 5 a day. It doesn't take that long to get there. She claimed my father was coerced and bullied into withdrawing cash, purchasing gift cards, giving the gift card details to the scammer in order to avoid trouble with the police and to keep his family safe. But, sir, how are you going to keep your family safe when I find you? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah.
I need that $60,000 in Target gift cards back if you want to keep your family safe. Yeah.
Yeah, how about that action? Yeah, if you don't know who's on the phone, go, you know what? Let me get a hold of my lawyer, my friend, let me get a hold of somebody. We're going to track this down so we can, and here's how I would do it. I want to bring a couple of people in, like my lawyer, and maybe I have a good friend's a police officer. Let's all 4 of us talk about this, because I want to make sure this works for you. I'm going to bring them into this conversation because I want to make sure that you get your money back. I'm very nervous about making sure that you become whole again. So I'm going to get my cop friend and my lawyer friend, and the 4 of us will do this together. What do you say?
I love it.
That's what you need to do. You need to say, oh, you know what? My cousin's a police officer. Let me get him on the phone. Just so I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. That's the only reason I'm bringing him on. I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Right?
Yeah. No, right. I think it's gross. It's terrible. I feel so bad, especially because like older people have had to deal with so many big changes that they kind of have to accept. Where we're like, no, you can just put your card on this device, or you can just do this. Or, grandma, have you heard of eBay? Buy me this on eBay. And then we're like, oh, I can't believe they got scammed. And it's like, they've had to accept so much change, and us be like, oh my God, just talk through me onto this little device.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. Okay, I need to find out who loaded Tom's news stories today.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
Well, you're all 3 lying, because I just looked at the next headline. 5 things you should do on World Introvert Day. Ooh. Yeah, like you 3 are introverts, okay? You don't even know what a hell of an introvert is.
I am married to an introvert. Thank you very much.
Is he really an introvert?
Yeah, do you know what he said to me?
You?
Do you know what he said to me during the pandemic at one point?
Get out.
He said, it doesn't even feel that different. And I said, I hate you so much.
So it went really well for you then.
He's just like, it's just it's been a normal couple of months. So I was like, what? He loves not leaving. He loves it.
I understand. By the way, I just realized something too. The reason I've never gotten a scam call is because I grew up in North Minneapolis. I ain't going to call anybody in North Minneapolis trying to get money. That ain't going to happen. So that's why I've never had one of these, I suppose.
I think you've had quite a few. You just don't answer unknown numbers.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. So what is World Introvert Day? You guys know anything about this? January. Oh, it's my brother Todd's birthday. Happy birthday, Todd.
Happy birthday, Todd.
World Introvert Day. You've met my family. How many introverts do I have in my family, Brittany?
Well, is Andy an introvert?
Well, Andy is kind of an introvert. That is true.
and I'm sure most people have their moments where they're introverted, where you go through the holiday season and you just got done hanging out with all of your family members. If you know, New Year's Eve you celebrated, so you're kind of more just worn out and burnt out from, you know, being in social situations, where I think there's more people today. They're like, you know what, this is going to be a me day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that I suppose in a way is being an introvert. It's just, you're just kind of hanging by yourself.
Yeah.
I suppose that's true. On January 2nd, set the tone for a year that embraces and honors your strength as an introvert. Yeah. I mean, around me, Andy's not an introvert. Around other people, he is, but around the family, he's not.
And it doesn't mean you're not talkative. It's kind of more of the way you charge. Do you charge up your energy from being around people, or do you charge up your energy from being alone? Like, they're introverts kind of get a bad rap because they get mixed in whatever, like in the like, oh, they're not this. You can be very good at being social. It's just exhausting for you.
You know, you sound like Catherine now. That's all I have to say. Catherine said, you know, Tom, I got to point something out to you. When you're walking down the street or you're getting on an elevator and some people are coming your way on the street, or there are other people already on the elevator, that doesn't mean it's a comedy club.
Yeah.
I said, what do you mean? Said,
Yeah.
Every time you get on an elevator, and I didn't even know I did this. He said, every time you get on an elevator, there are other people go, hey, let me tell you, when I was a kid, you know, I start telling jokes to people or joking around with them or whatever. Like there was this kid, Patrick, yesterday, had his Navy sweatshirt on. He was there with his mom. He started schmoozing about stuff. By the end of it, found out his name was Patrick. My name is Tom. We both grew up Catholic. I mean, I've never seen this guy in my life.
Yeah.
Catherine said, you do that with everybody. Everybody comes near you. You start entertaining them. What is that?
My need to connect with people around me is so palpable and disgusting. Like, I need to know, did you have a cat or dog growing up? Do you, like, I want to know things about the people around me.
Yep.
And Justin is like, it was like about a month ago, he mentioned to me that he starts kind of engaging with people a little more, because he's like, it's kind of nice to know people that you see all the time, you know, like when you go to the same gas station, when you go to the whatever. But he's like, he doesn't need it as bad as I do. I need it. I need to know these people.
You know what Catherine said to me yesterday on elevators we're getting off, because there were another 3 people on there. They had a dog, and we had Judd with us and all the rest of us. And Catherine started talking to Judd. Oh, Judy, everything's going to be good. We're just going to get up to the, okay, don't worry about it, baby boy, and blah, blah, blah. I said, why aren't you as nice to me as you are to our dog? This is in front of the other 3 people on the elevator. I said, why aren't you as nice to me as you are to our dog? And she said, yeah, as soon as you get that cute, I will be.
I know.
So apparently Jude's a lot cuter than I am. I didn't realize that.
Didn't know we were stating the obvious in 2024.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Jude. Does everybody, okay, you have a dog. The other 2 guys, you have a dog?
Yep, I have a dog.
Mm-hmm.
You both do. Do they both work the angles on you like Jude does on us? I mean, they're working it constantly.
100%. Like, we'll be like, oh, you want a treat? And his ears will perk up, and he knows where the treat drawer is. So we go over there, and I'll take one out, and he'll sniff it, and he'll do like a little head shake. No, like he doesn't want it. And so I put it down on the ground, and I'm like, well, what about this one? And then he'll kind of sniff it, and then he'll shake his head no, and I'll put it down, and then he'll grab the first one that I already put down, run away, and go like hide that one, and come back and take the second one. So yeah, he's always scheming. And speaking of scammers, my dog scams me out of an extra treat every time.
Did he ask for Target gift cards too?
Yeah. Whoa, that's a very good point. You scammed him for Target gift cards. But Jude, he does things like, if Catherine goes out with her friends and he's stuck at home with me, so it's just Jude and me, when she gets back home, I usually sit on the far right of the couch, because Catherine likes to lay down the couch so she can like stretch her legs, whereas I like sitting up. And I'm not kidding you. So she was out a little, not late or anything, but he kept looking for her, and any noise, he'd go to the door. And so she finally gets home, and he's all happy to see her. But then it's payback time. So we go in the kitchen. We come out of the kitchen. I go to sit in my chair. I'm good to go. Catherine goes to lay down, and Jude is laying straight out, both legs forward, both legs backward, covering the entire area where she usually lays down.
Oh, funny.
Like, you're back? Well, take this home with you.
How dare you leave me?
I love dogs torturing and coercing people to maybe stay home a little longer. But
Yeah.
would you guys like to be in a house without a dog?
No, my grandma, who
No.
is 96 years old, says you can you have big dogs when you can have big dogs, and when you can't have dogs anymore, you just get a small dog.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? That's a good idea. That's what we did.
Ah, see? So
Yeah, we
you
definitely
always
did.
have a dog. That's what my grandma always says.
Yep.
Just.
No question. I want to know why it is always me. This is over the past 40 years now, because we've always had a dog. Big German Shepherds and that kind, not German Shepherds, excuse me, but the big Irish setters, that kind of thing. And why is it always Uncle Tommy that has to come home and find them deceased?
Oh,
every time our dog died, I had to find it for some reason. It's like, what the hell?
I had to put my first dog down, like that was mine, about a year and a half ago. It was terrible. I'm sorry.
You remember Cassie Russell, don't you? We had Cassie and Nipsey Russell, twin dogs.
I never met them, but I know.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I never met those dogs. No, that was in your. I don't even think that was in your Golden Valley house.
No, you're right. You're right. It probably was not. No, it was just for a very short time though, because we went to the Golden Valley pet doctor, and so I'm, petting. I think he was like 18 years old too.
Wow.
That's an old dog.
Yeah.
But I'm petting him and all the rest of it, and he's looking at me, and I just keep petting him, and I'm looking him in the eye, going, "Don't worry about this. Everything is fine." Blah blah blah. And the doctor finally had to come over and go, "Tom, your dog's been dead for about 2 minutes now." I didn't even know he was dead because he was still looking at me, and I was still petting him. That's tough. That's a tough moment right there.
Yeah.
You don't want to be cacking the dogs, do you?
It's terrible. I hated putting down Izzy, but I knew that I wanted my voice to be the last thing she heard. So I just kept talking to her for a very long time. We should talk about something.
Okay, we'll move on January 2nd, set the tone for a year that embraces and honors your strength as an introvert. We shall move on before I start petting you because you look like you're going to die.
No, it's fine. I love this. Let's do this.
Yeah, you sure do. Well, yeah, it doesn't show at all. That's a tough road to hoe.
For the day.
That's so funny. All three teared up. That was great. Well, it just shows that you care, right?
Introverts, eh?
Brittany is having an emotional moment.
I'm so sorry, you guys. I can't.
Sorry. Why would you be sorry about being emotional?
Because I
wish
don't
a lot of
want to
people
be
were
right now. I wish I could just be normal right now.
Give a rat's ass. Don't. Okay, next time I'll bring up cats that are put to sleep. How about that? Is that better?
Oh, that's great because that happened to me while I was pregnant as well. So,
oh no,
it
happened to us. I know that.
So much so that the vet sent me a letter after of
oh really?
I lost my mind. Yeah, let's move on.
No, I want to know about the doctor. The doctor said,
No,
"God, I didn't know so much snot could come out of someone's nose like that."
it's fine. I love it.
You know what else happened? Okay, how about horses? You ever have to put a horse down?
No, I'm sorry. My life is not bougie enough to put a horse down. I've
Not
never put a
bougie
horse
enough to
down.
kill a horse. All right, moving on to the introvert story. But that's good. It's good to know you get that emotional about someone you thought or something you thought a great deal of. There's nothing wrong with that. Wasn't easy. I'm telling you, it wasn't easy for me. The new year is here as we usher in a season of fresh starts and big goals. It's also time to commemorate another lesser-known holiday that's just as worthy of celebration, if a little quieter than the New Year's Eve fanfare. World Introvert Day, observed annually on January 2nd, is dedicated to celebrating and bringing awareness to introversion. Founded in 2011, it's an opportunity for us often overlooked quiet ones. Why did I have to say us? I would not consider myself to be a quiet one.
You are not an introvert at all.
No, I am not at all. Not in the least. I could literally stand in front of 10 people I've never even met before and go, so I was walking down the street the other day. Just start telling them stories.
You need to be around people and talk all the time.
I do. You're right. Why is that? Why would that happen?
I don't No, your need to control situations that felt
No, that's not it.
chaotic. No,
That's
I
not
don't
it.
mean like the idea of silence makes you uncomfortable.
It reminds me too much of my father because he was never
Exactly.
there, so it was always silent. What do you think of
Yeah.
that take, huh?
Or like you made him laugh sometimes, and that had some like you could control a
Good
situation
point.
a
That's
little
true.
bit. And I don't
That's
mean like
true.
you're controlling, but like
I
the
know.
idea, the unknown silence makes you uncomfortable.
I agree with you 100%. I do not care for that. This year, we're taking World Introvert Day to the next level, recognizing that introversion deserves to be celebrated every day, all year long. We're using this World Introvert Day to kick off a full year of unapologetic introverting. Here's how you can set the tone for a year that embraces and honors your strength as an introvert. Let me go back just a little bit. Why do we need to include introverts into our lives? You either know them or you don't.
Yeah. And for them to, and I guess them, the introverts, whoever made this article, to refer to themselves as the overlooked ones. Like, not everybody's the victim. You could just be an introvert, and here's Happy Introverts Day. Like, is anybody really overlooking introverts?
I would argue being overlooked comes with being an introvert, because like you're not going out to like be looked at, and so people are gonna forget about you in a sense where it's a self-inflicted wound, I feel like.
Yeah, and most introverts are probably kind of okay with being overlooked because they're introverts.
They don't want to be the topic of conversation all the time.
That's true. All right, here are the 5 things you should do on World Introvert Day, which is today. Plan some alone time. First things first, give yourself a chance to catch your breath and transition out of the whirlwind of the holiday season. For introverts, the holidays can be particularly overwhelming. It's no coincidence that World Introvert Day falls immediately after New Year's Day. It reminds us to recharge after the hustle and bustle of nonstop holiday parties, family obligations, and other social commitments associated with the season. By that, I got to be honest with you, we went out to dinner, or other people took us out to dinner every single day for 8 straight days.
Damn.
Have you ever eaten at restaurants 8 straight days?
Never.
No.
Even if you don't feel like you're gained weight, you did.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was like, what are we doing tomorrow? God, that's a lot of chow. Seriously, you go to those restaurants, that's a lot of food to be eaten. No question about it. So prioritize self-care. Take a moment to relax, unwind, and catch up on all your favorite introvert-friendly activities that you might have neglected during the holiday rush. Well, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And we got, oh my God, these things go on forever. I can't read all these. Conduct an energy audit while the new year marks the end of the holiday season. This time of year is also about fresh starts, new beginnings. Use today as an opportunity to take stock of how you're spending your time and energy. Okay, that's good advice, don't you think?
Yeah.
Commit to building new routines and habits as the new year unfolds. Many people make resolutions, often focusing on physical fitness and mental health. Have you guys ever made a New Year's resolution?
Not one that I've kept.
Okay, me either. Okay.
Not really. I would say this year, I guess middle of December, I was like, I want to spend less time on my phone and like screen time type of things. And so just be more present in the moment. But I would say that's probably the closest that I've gotten to making a hard New Year's resolution.
Brittany?
I love them, but I love goals. Like I love setting them and like being like, this how many miles I want to run. This is whatever. And then me and my nanny mom and nanny girl, Brooke and Ann, we will have New Year's mantras. And so then we go to lunch and figure out what our New Year's mantra was.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah. So.
Were you really sad? No, I actually, Tevin and AJ just sent me a message off air about this, wanting to know if you were really sad that first time you walked alone when your dog died. Were you sad then too?
Izzy, my best friend, who I'd put down after 16 and a half years of being my best friend. It's fine. I had 2 other dogs, so don't worry about it. I never walked alone, but
I never walked alone. The Righteous Brothers.
No,
You'll never walk alone.
Footsteps in the sand thing that like hangs in every grandma's bathroom.
Yeah, at one point there were 1 footprints, and that's when I was carrying Izzy.
Oh. Let go of what's no longer serving you, just as the new year brings opportunities and new goals and healthier habits. It's also a prime moment to shed bad habits and old ideas that are holding you back. You agree with that as well?
Yeah.
And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, fully embrace and celebrate your introversion. This World Introvert Day. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you holding back from? Because most introverts I know don't have that many friends because they don't want that many friends, right?
Yeah, like they don't have like a huge circle of
No.
casual friends. Like Justin has 3 really good friends, and they are like thick as thieves. And like, so that's probably like where you still have your people you call, and he probably calls the same amount of times, but it's these 3 people.
I got to tell you, honest to God, I won't say any names, but I had friends when I was a kid, and a couple of them were brothers. Okay. And one brother was very outgoing, and the other brother was not outgoing at all. And we thought, that's kind of interesting. He must be an introvert. Turns out as we grew older, he was not an introvert. He was just that stupid.
Oh, no.
So is there a big difference between being stupid and being an introvert? I hope so.
Oh, my God. I don't know. This is my husband's whole career. So he is an IO psychologist. And so he does assessments for personalities and for job placement. And then like, if you want to expand on your skill sets or whatever. So like he used to work for Myers-Briggs, and to this day, like he can go on and on about like, there is a weird negative connotation that is attached to introverts. And you kind of feel bad because it doesn't mean anything positive or negative.
I don't look at them that way at all.
But every picture that they put for like extroverts or introverts, extroverts are like jumping in the sky, and introverts are like curled up in a ball.
I don't want to see the sun.
So it's like there is this weird one's a positive and one's a negative, and it's not that way, and it's blurred lines, and it's this and that, but it's so interesting.
Have they ever come up with an idea what causes introversion in the first place? I've never heard of a cause of it. Does anyone know?
No, I'll ask him. He took Gogo to her checkup, but I'll ask him. I'll ask him, and I'll get back to you tomorrow.
I mean, is there anybody have any ideas? Was it because mom and dad told you to shut up and just mind your manners or whatever? Is that part of it? Some people are just. Andy is a deep thinker. That's why he's so quiet. He's constantly thinking about things, and therefore he doesn't really talk that much.
But he talks a lot.
Talk around people he knows. He talks a lot.
Yeah, I mean that in like the best way possible. Is that like he talks a lot. I mean the talking piece doesn't come into play for introverts or extroverts, but it's does he want to go to. I would say Alex and him are good versions of an extrovert and an introvert, is that she would want to go to the party because it would automatically, no matter who was there. And Andy's going to be more like, are my people there? Are the people that I don't feel restrained?
Right. And he's not a big party guy. You're right.
Yeah. And that's all fine. Like,
yeah.
And they're both so social and they'll talk to anybody, but like, I think it's where you drive. Like, is Andy exhausted when he's, in an elevator performing for people? Then is Tom getting energy, being like, I'm doing my second bit here on the elevator?
What's the airline food?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I can see that to be. Does anybody know an introvert? Do you think your husband would call in and do an interview about what it's like to be an introvert?
Of course, but I mean,
I thought he wouldn't because he was an introvert.
No, he would jump on for sure. I mean, he wouldn't love it. He wouldn't be like, I'm so excited to do this, but he for sure would.
But what causes it? Does anyone know what causes introversion? Are you told as a little kid to mind your manners and speak when spoken to? Is that part of it?
No, because like, it's not like Andy, like when Andy was a young kid, did you notice him a little different than Alex when they were growing up?
Yeah, well, first of all, when Andy was born, he came out reading a book, which, Jesus, like, God.
Can't believe she had one in there.
How to get in there?
She swallowed it. Catherine swallowed a book for him. He was knocking on her rib cage, and she finally caved in. No, he has always been a voracious, big-time reader. He loves to read. I suppose that most introverts would be big readers because they learn things and entertain themselves by reading, I would imagine.
Yeah. And again, I don't know if that one has a correlation.
No.
Maybe it does. Yeah. Because if you're saying that at a young age, let's say like 3 or 4, did you notice difference with the way that Andy would approach social situations compared to Alex?
Yes, he would not go near people.
Yeah. So I think it's something you're just born with, because it's not like you ever told Alex or Andy to be like, don't talk or this or that. Like,
yeah. And with like Andy, and it's not like with Andy, I wonder if it would be something too, where if, you guys are going out and Tom, you being, obviously very recognizable out in the community, if he's like, I'm tired of all these people, I just want to spend time with my dad, and so then that kind of helps him being more introverted at times, maybe. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and I mean there was a 2-year period when we had to have an armed guard with us everywhere we went, and that got really old.
So
I mean, not because of the armed guard, he was a nice guy actually, but just the show got so big that people just got crazy about it. I mean, the one thing that did bother Andy and Alex a lot when they were like, say, 5 and 7 years old, we'd go to Dairy Queen and just grab a cone and sit in a booth, and somebody would come and sit down at the booth with us to talk about the morning show.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, he hated that.
And I can't imagine you liked it either, because like when I'm with my kid,
right.
I don't mind people interacting with her, but the idea of somebody coming that close and like that would be a bit much.
Yeah, and it used to happen all the time, which is, I mean, it never bothered me. Andy didn't like it. I don't think Alex liked it much either.
I got a question. So this armed guard, he's with you all the time.
He was, yeah.
Eat dinner with you guys? Like how, like, or does he always just
No, he would not. He would not eat dinner with us, but he would always be there. Yeah, it just there was a period. Well, for some reason, the prisoners in all the prisons in the state of Minnesota started threatening me. I don't know why, because I suppose because they were incarcerated morons. That's probably what I'm thinking. That doesn't mean they're going to start doing it after this show.
I think they are very smart and could be free if they wanted to be. I want to go on the record.
That's your deal. Well, the good thing about it is going to North High School, I knew most of the prisoners anyway.
There you go.
I went to high school with them, so I knew who they all were anyway.
Class reunion.
Yeah, class reunion, the class kind of reunion in a way. Now, it is interesting. People are outgoing because when you look, my brothers, sisters, the 3 before me were not outgoing. Then I was very outgoing. And then Todd was not. Tony is. And Troy kind of was. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting how 7 kids took away from the same household a different approach to the world. That's kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I like it. That's all I'm saying. I suppose we better take a break. Oh, my God, it's already 9:24. I suppose we better take a break here. I'll be right back in a couple minutes. There's all kinds of great stuff in Tom's news stories. The complete sheet is back, thank God. Did they come back today or is it tomorrow?
I don't know. I haven't even looked at it.
I got to click on it very quickly because they took like 2 weeks off the pains in the ass.
Yeah.
I think they said we'll take a break and I'll find out because I gotta enter the password and all that. So we'll be right back and I'll find out what's going on in the complete sheet right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
When you need someone to listen, A lawyer you know and trust, with respect that you deserve.
Hi, I'm Mike Bryant. Over the years at holiday time, Bradshaw and Bryant has been able to help thousands of Minnesotans arrive home safely from the bars. This year, there's still lots of things that we can do to ensure that you stay safe on the roads, like slowing down, giving yourself enough time that you're not in a rush, no texting and driving, hands-free phone calls, and of course, no drinking and driving. Please be safe so that you get home to your loved ones. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. This year, my biggest wish is that we all remain happy, healthy, and even a little more kind to one another.
A lawyer who will fight with confidence and pride, working harder, going farther, with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. It's Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy. For your second home in Florida, Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotans from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I have to ask you guys a question. Do you think there are certain things that should never be tampered with? Because there's a new movie coming out with a very, very famous character in it, but apparently the what do they even call that? There are certain rules. You can't use this, you can't use that until the copyright expires. I guess it's just expiration of copyright, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go see this, so it really is going to have no effect on me whatsoever. It's Mickey, but not as you've ever seen him before. The copyright apparently expired. So now Mickey Mouse has become a murderer.
Yeah, I
believe you're talking about Steamboat Willie, the original Mickey Mouse cartoon went into public domain, similar to like Winnie the Pooh did a couple years ago, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. Public domain now. So what are you saying, Tevin?
Well, real quick, it's funny that AJ, you brought up Winnie the Pooh, because didn't they make a horror film about Winnie the Pooh when that copyright came out? So maybe that's just the thing everybody wants to do. But again, the cartoon characters, I feel bad because I'm sure there's somebody out there that's, the new Mickey Mouse movie, let's take the kids to it. Doesn't do a whole lot of research, and now you're in the middle of having to explain to your kid why Mickey Mouse can't be trusted anymore.
And there it is. It's Mickey, but not as you've ever seen him before. A trailer for a slasher film featuring a masked killer dressed as Mickey Mouse was released on the 1st of January, the day that Disney copyright on the earliest versions of the cartoon character expired in the U.S. We just wanted to have fun with it, the movie's director said. A new Mickey-inspired horror game showing the rodent covered with blood stains also dropped on the same day. Steamboat Willie, it's exactly what Tevin was talking about, the 1928 short film featuring early non-speaking versions of Mickey and Minnie, entered the public domain in the U.S. on New Year's Day. It means cartoonists, novelists, and filmmakers can now rework and use the earliest versions of Mickey and Minnie. So that Steamboat Willie was the very first version, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
What is the upside of using Mickey Mouse as a murderer? I don't get it.
I don't know, but I don't know if you guys were on the show yet, Tom, but it was, you and I read a story about this teacher, this like substitute teacher was supposed to play Pooh in front of this class and then ended up playing the murderous one.
Oh no.
And the kids were terrified.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, but I think like this, does it bug you? I feel like it bugs you that they're using these childhood imagery, especially because you've got a real attachment to Mickey Mouse.
Oh, no question. I worked for Mickey Mouse for about 30 years. Mickey used to call me, "Hey, Catman." No, actually, that's a lie. It never happened. I love Mickey Mouse. Back in the day when Walt Disney was still alive, all these different things. I mean, you Sunday nights, what was the name of the show again? The Disney World of Magic, or The Wonderful World of Disney, it was called. That's what it was called. Yeah. We never missed it because it was always wonderful, because Mickey was always funny. It was always great. I don't want to know Mickey as a murderer. I really don't. You know?
No, this feels like just a cash grab. Like they probably made this movie years and years ago because they knew that this was coming up. And they're like, we just got to be ready. So that way, when the public domain expires and everybody's talking about that, we already have this movie in the can ready to go.
Honestly, well, I'll give you an example of why I don't like this kind of thing. First time we ever took Andy and Alex to Disney World, Andy was 6 and Alex was 4. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we walk into Disney World. We get down on Main Street, right? We're on Main Street at Disney World. And as we enter Main Street, who's there but Minnie Mouse, your buddy, Alexandra, puts both of her hands on her mouth and drops to her knees and starts crying. Oh, Minnie. I mean, she was all in.
What a special moment.
It was great.
That's so cool.
Yep. No question about it. It was a great moment. In fact, anyone can use those versions without permission or cost. Creatives have been quick to take advantage of the new rules, with a trailer containing violent scenes, by the way, for a Mickey horror film dropping on the same day. In the horror comedy thriller called Mickey's Mousetrap, a young woman is thrown a surprise birthday party in an amusement arcade, but things quickly take a turn for the worse when she and her friends encounter a knife-wielding murderer in a Mickey costume. A place for fun, a place for friends, a place for hunting. The mouse is out, the trailer screams in the red text. I mean, it's Steamboat Willie's Mickey Mouse murdering people. It's ridiculous, said film director Jamie Bailey. Yeah, Steamboat Willie's now murdering people. Why is that necessary?
I feel like there's a big opportunity being missed here to not call it like Screamboat Willie or something like that.
Screamboat Willie. That's a good one.
Why are we putting him in an arcade? That seems very lazy. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
This whole thing sounds meh.
I agree. It just sounds stupid. It doesn't say if it's going to, I suppose it's going to be in theaters, but who the hell would put that in their theater?
That's a good question.
Do you think anybody would go see? I wouldn't go see this. What the hell? It sounds stupid.
There's definitely, I feel like, a crew of there's people that exclusively watch horror movies. I feel like they've been salivating at the thought of midnight, January 1st, Steamboat Willie's gonna be a maniac killer on the loose. I can't wait. There's a weird group of people that are just waiting for this.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right. It's interesting in my family that Alex and I loved horror films. Catherine and Andy hated them and would not watch them. Isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting. I have a nephew, Finn, who's obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's. And so there is this weird big group of people that want the nostalgia to mix with a horror genre. Because the whole Five Nights at Freddy's is kind of like Circus Pizza, or Pizza or whatever, where they have the Circus. Yeah, Circus Pizza is the one with the cheese guy, right?
I think so. Yeah,
the little rat robotic guy who would, they'd go to and they'd play stuff. So that whole Five Nights at Freddy's is like a take on that, and these animatronics become alive and try to kill everybody.
Perfect. We ran with it and had fun doing it, and I think it shows. The film itself does not have a confirmed release date, but it's expected to be out sometime in March. Why would you release it in March? That's kind of a weird time to release it, don't you think?
Yeah, wait till October.
Yeah, October would be the time to do it.
Yeah,
March. I don't understand March either. I don't. Like I said, I wouldn't go see something like that. Most of those horror films that are robbers and murderers, they're hardly ever any good.
Yeah. No. And that the story is going to be shit because it's just based on the novelty of Mickey Mouse.
Well, it's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, we got the copyright. We'll work on the story later. Oh, okay.
Right. It's just your typical horror movie. He just happens to be dressed as Mickey Mouse now.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
Yeah, we're right. Yeah, that's exactly. He's not Mickey Mouse. He's dressed as Mickey Mouse. So I don't know if that's any good or not.
Yeah, I was hoping that it was they drew the cartoon and it was like Steamboat Willie, except now he's murdering everybody, and so it's like a cartoon version of this. But if he's just dressed as Mickey Mouse, I don't care about this.
Yeah, I just clicked on the article and like the picture, it's just a crappy like Spirit Halloween $5 mask that looks like Mickey. That's terrible. It's just a guy. It's just a guy. It's a guy with a mask.
You know what the problem is? Cost of animation is huge.
Yeah.
It is huge. So they don't want to spend any money. They just want to use the figure as cheaply as they possibly could.
They're literally just going to take a plot from another movie. It'll be like Scream, but he just happens to be wearing this mask instead.
Exactly. Okay, I have to ask you a question. If we were drinking, the four of us, if you were drinking alcohol and Mickey came at you with a knife, wouldn't you just beat the piss out of him?
Yeah.
But if it's 1v4, yeah.
Even if not drinking and Mickey came at me with a knife. Yeah.
You do it anyway. Yeah, I understand. Brittany, you probably kick some ass on Mickey pulling a knife on you, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I've thought about getting stabbed by a knife probably more than your average person. And I got a game plan. So just so you know, I've got a game plan.
You're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm all good to go. I mean, they have the upper hand in some ways, but do they? I don't know. We'll see.
I was stabbed in my foot once. Does that count?
No.
How'd you get stabbed in the foot?
Wasn't it a lawn dart?
No. Well, that too. That happened too. You're absolutely right. A lawn dart was in my leg, though. That wasn't in my foot. It was in the calf. But no, that happened because we're playing Mumbly Peg. You ever heard of that game?
Mm-hmm.
Where you throw the knife down, you have to stretch your legs out. And you just keep throwing the knife at each other, and whoever falls over first loses, right? Well, unfortunately, my buddy didn't lose that way. He threw the knife right through the top of my foot.
Oh,
Kevin, do you want me to say it so you don't have to? That is the most white person game of all time.
Right.
Probably is.
So many other fun things to do than go into the kitchen, grab some knives, and start to
just throw it at each other. Yeah, blast, guys.
Have you ever played cards instead of knives?
With my grandmother.
Oh, sorry.
I do it with my grandmother. And by the way, the only reason the black people don't play Mumbly Peg is they're busy using the guns on everybody.
That's actually, we have a version of Mumbly Peg, except it's called Bang Bang Peg. Go get the guns out, and the Glock, and we start shooting each other's legs. So I got a bullet to the foot last Thanksgiving.
What the hell is going on in the Twin Cities? Every day there are 3 or 4 stories about people opening fire. What is going on?
It's ridiculous because people are just overly sensitive, and now the people will shoot rather than fight. I don't know. There's no sense to any of it going on.
I agree completely. Brittany, you're the only one that can answer this next question because you're a woman.
Yes.
Ready? Would you like this or would you hate this?
All right.
Because I don't think I would like it. I'll be upfront with you. New Jersey twins born in 2 different years.
Oh.
Wouldn't you hate that?
It's kind of
1 in 23 and 1 in 24.
It's kind of cute.
Cute, but
yeah. Yeah, the whole twins things, the idea of carrying 2 children kind of blows my mind. Like it was weird before, and now after having a kid, the idea of having 2 kids, 2 newborns is actually more terrifying than Steamboat Willie could ever be. So that alone keeps me up at night. I suppose have 2 infants.
Yeah. I suppose the kids would like it because they get their own birthday.
Yeah, it's kind of cute. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. You'd have, okay, we celebrate on New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day. I like that.
Because I got to click on the story because they had to be born just minutes apart, right? What, 15, 20 minutes apart, something like that?
Absolutely. I think that's kind of cute. Yeah, that gives them a little more individuality.
But imagine they better have some money because having 2 birthdays back to back like that, you're pissing away some big dough, don't you think?
Yeah, having 2 newborns back to back is going to take a little, when the college comes around, a little dent. We're going to hit
College.
you.
Oh, God, college.
Time to buy a
Think about
car. Looks like you guys are getting really nice bikes.
A tandem bike.
Tandem bike.
Oh, a tandem bike. There you go. I have a question for you. Wasn't Voorhees a horror figure?
That's Jason, Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Well, Friday the 13th, because there actually is a town named Voorhees, New Jersey. Did you know that?
I did not.
I never knew that. They're at Voorhees, New Jersey. Yeah, so I thought that name sounded familiar.
I didn't know he was old money.
Old money. He's got his own city. He bought his own city. I'll stab you, and then I'll go back to the city that I purchased. What do you think? Eve and Billy Humphrey of Merchantville, New Jersey, were caught off guard when they found out they were expecting twin boys. The doctor was like, well, there are 2 heartbeats. And I was like, well, let me see. I don't believe you, said Eve. And I was in shock. They were due at the end of January, but Eve's water broke on New Year's Eve, which also happens to be Billy's birthday. Also, that's the parent.
I guess Billy's coming. Billy has entered the chat.
Yeah, Billy's in the chat now. So yeah, the doctor said there was 2 heartbeats. He wondered if it would be, oh my God, they were due at the end of January, but Eve's water broke New Year's Eve, which also happened to be Billy's birthday. He wondered if he would share his birthday with his sons. I'm like, what a great birthday gift. I get 2 boys on my birthday. We came in early enough on that day, and I was thinking, okay, maybe this is going to happen. They're very cute babies, by the way. There are pictures. I love the fact that babies can't open their eyes. They're like, I'm really bored with you. They won't open their eyes at all. I love that. The couple arrived at Virtua Voorhees Hospital with plenty of time to spare. Baby A, now named Ezra, was born at 11:48 p.m. on New Year's Eve, weighing in at 6 pounds even. Once he was born, thinking of the tax write-off, I was like, maybe we can. You start thinking about a tax write-off when your kid was just born.
I'm so concerned about this guy Billy being a father.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
The first thing I know about him is, doctor, let me take a look. I don't believe you.
Yes.
I could tell if there's 2 heartbeats. Thank you.
Unbelievable. Little brother had other plans. I was still pushing when everyone's doing the countdown, and we all just said Happy New Year in the middle of me trying to push out baby B, said Eve. Ezekiel was born at 12:28 a.m. on New Year's Day, weighing 4 pounds, 15 ounces. Twin brothers born on different days in different years. Pretty interesting. I just know they're going to be world changers. They couldn't share the same day, right? They needed their own spotlight, said Billy. Seeing them in person and seeing their faces, they're so cute. I'm so glad they're healthy. As if there's not enough celebrating already, the twins have an older brother, Hezekiah, who will turn 3 on January 3rd. So dad's birthday is on the 31st.
Yeah.
One kid's birthday is on the 31st. The other kid's birthday is on the 1st. And then the 4th kid's birthday is on the 3rd.
And nobody's thought about the mom in like 5 years anyway, so don't worry about her.
She didn't even get a birthday. Forget about it. It's just how it is. You get no birthday. That's kind of a cool story. My name is Thomas because they thought I was twins. Because I was so big that I had, apparently you could pick up not only my heartbeat, but you could pick it up in my neck or something.
Tom.
So they thought I was twin. That's what Thomas means, twin.
Do you think you ate your twin?
Oh, I probably did. Oh, you mean like last night? Thank you very much. Great to be here. Anyway, no, I don't. Well, maybe I did. I don't know. But yeah, I was 23 inches long and weighed 11 pounds.
Damn.
Although the world record for babies, didn't we read it one day, is like 28 pounds for a baby?
I don't like Googling it because there's a lot of weird things that come up. They're like, oh, this baby was born this way and died 4 minutes after. It's like, it gets so dark when you try to look into it.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It gets very, very. How cool would that be, though? It's your birthday. It's your son's birthday. And then your other son's birthday is the next day. And then your other son's birthday is 48 hours after that.
I would love if a kid was born on my birthday. It would like add new energy into your birthday. Tom, it happened to you.
It happened to my grandson was born on my birthday. That's exactly right. And Andy was born 12 days. We thought he was going to be born on my birthday, but he's born on October 26th. So he missed it by 12 days. And I've disliked him ever since. What do you think?
Fawn, me and Gogo are all like 5 days apart. So.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I'm May 23rd. Fawn is 26.
Mm-hmm.
And Gogo's 28.
That's pretty cool.
I know. We're a bunch of
Who doesn't like
Geminis.
that? It's a Gemini thing. Is that what it is? Gemini.
Yep.
We got the Scorpio deal going. Why do I always have to get the one M? Whenever there's a thing for my birthday or my whatever, there's always something that will kill you involved. What do you mean Scorpio? What the hell is that?
I do think the worst one is when you have to say I am a Cancer. Like I don't think that is a good one to have to say out loud.
Well, people just say, "Yeah, I already knew that before you told me." But
trust me,
it would be a Cancer. What is Cancer? I don't even know.
I mean, I don't know what the symbol is, but yeah, that's not a great one to have to say out loud.
I literally. Oh, by the way, I checked the complete sheet. They're not even coming back till tomorrow.
I know. I saw that on break and I was laughing.
It's like, what the hell? How much time they've been off for like 3 weeks, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, because didn't you get an email like 2 weeks before Christmas that was like, hey, we're checking out early?
Good God. I mean, once you take a break, you pills. What the hell is that? Right?
Yeah. I need to work for them. Am I right?
Oh, God. I didn't even know you knew what the word work meant.
Same.
God. Whatever, sister. That's all I have to say to you. But yeah, you know what? It doesn't say. You'd think they'd say, well, mom's birthday is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it never did say when mom's birthday is.
No. I'm kind of curious what this tax write-off is that you get is it just for having a baby? Like, did you get a tax write-off, Brittany? Or do you specifically have to have twins?
No, it's like a dependent when you do your taxes.
Okay.
It's, trust me, nobody in the history of the world has ever made money having a baby. So
no, that's very
I know I look really wealthy in my closet here with my child, but no, I've never been more broke in my life. Highly recommend doing it. So
I mean, you know what? I'm not even going to say it because there's a very expensive thing. If you have a baby who needs some help, that's got to be a bitch. Costs all of that money, and all of a sudden the baby needs some medical help. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those poor people.
Oh yeah, we are super blessed. Gogo's fine. She's getting shots right now. Her 18-month-old shots, and like everything is we've been really blessed with Gogo and all this stuff, and it's just expensive. So I can't even imagine you add on any of that, and yeah. But yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. It is, honest to God. I got to ask you a question because it's something I came upon. You guys ever had Virgil's zero sugar soft drinks?
No.
Nope.
It's VIRGIL. It's most. Do we have Sprouts in the Twin Cities?
Like
Sprout
vegetables?
stores?
Like alfalfa sprouts?
Oh, the stores? I don't believe we have them here, but the name sounds very familiar.
Yeah, they're such good stores. They're in a lot of different places. I hope we do get them. Maybe we do, but I don't think we do. But yeah, they got all this stuff that you can't find anywhere else. That's what I love it. They have this Virgil soda. It is the most delicious, and there's no caffeine. There's no fake sugar in it. It's good. Black cherry. Forget about it. Where's Virgil's in Minnesota? Okay, what's the number? Call in
now.
It looks like they're only in California, Florida, Washington, Texas, Arizona, and Pennsylvania.
So how about Virgil soda? Can you get Virgil soda anywhere? And what if I have to drive up to like East Grand Forks to buy it?
That's a good question.
Oh, nobody cares. Thanks for all your concern. Yeah, no problem.
It's here. I found it. There's a bunch of different like the Lake Winds food co-op.
I love Lake Winds.
I'll look in your area because we don't live close at all.
No.
Trader Joe's in Bloomington.
Oh, Trader Joe's right down the block.
Whole Foods on France Ave.
Okay, now I'm locked in. Good, I can buy Virgil's black cherry soda.
Yeah.
It is incredibly delicious. That's all I'm saying. Because I got away from drinking caffeine, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
I do a shot of caffeine in the morning, and then I don't touch it the rest of the day. Maybe that's why I'm so goddamn even keel now. What do you think?
What is this shot of caffeine? What exactly are you drinking?
Is it the 5-hour energy?
Don't be the 5 hour.
No, that's so much caffeine.
No, I don't.
No, it's 250 milligrams.
I'm not even mad at that, but like, don't you want to enjoy it? That stuff tastes like battery acid.
No, I don't want to enjoy it. I want to wake up. I literally, since I went on I changed my medications. I cut way back on them. And this is weird. My sleep medications I'm talking about, I cut way back on them. I've been sleeping 9 or 10 hours every night.
Wow.
Yes, son. That's amazing.
I have not slept that much my entire life. Never. Even when I was a kid, I didn't sleep that much. I don't sleep that much right now, but I love when I do. I'm telling you, there's some great things out there that what do we got? We're 60 days away from the pot stores opening in Minnesota. Is that right?
Oh yeah, I forget.
Isn't it like March 1st or something? I think. Maybe we should get an expert on that. We call somebody and get an expert. Does anybody know anybody that owns a pot shop?
Yeah, my friend Sean. Remember we had him on? Do you want him back on?
We should find out when, because when you can just walk into stores, and there are many states you can do it now. You don't even have to be from the state either to buy it, because it's just retail. I mean, you can buy. What's kind of interesting? I take Relaxium to sleep. It's good stuff. A combination of these things. Might be a little pot involved too, like 10 milligrams of THC, if you know what I'm saying. But there are these drops. I don't even know what the hell the name of them are. I used to have one in here, but I don't anymore. But you do it drops, and my God, it just relaxes the hell out of you. It's amazing.
Is it like a white liquid?
Yep, absolutely.
I think I know what you're talking about. You can get them kind of all over the place. But does it have a really strong taste to it?
This doesn't, no.
No, because when they first came out, I had a friend that Brittany, I think you remember this guy that was trying to peddle like these milk type
not my friend Sean. This is not my friend Sean. This is a different guy. My friend Sean is so legit, has his own like company, but yeah, this other guy we met,
he had it had to be the early renditions of it, and it was the strongest, nastiest tasting thing. So I'm glad that they've come a long way. Like it used to be like one little eye drop and you wanted to pass out. I was like, terrible.
But it's not like that anymore.
They've come a long way now, it sounds like. Okay.
It does work though. It really, really works. It's really nice. The only problem is you can't, if you have to pay attention to your dosage, because if you go over a little over top, you might not ever wake up. Put it that way. But yeah, I was told, I can't remember who told me that yesterday. I was talking to somebody on the phone in Minnesota. And they said that they believe they're 60 days away from the retail pot shops opening, which is going to be, that's going to make a hell of a lot of tax money. Maybe it can drop our taxes away from, they're thinking about going to 15%, in taxes in Minnesota.
Have they ever dropped tax for has there?
No.
So even if we have like a big revenue stream, they're not like, you know what? Let's give the citizens a break.
But yeah, I have not slept literally. In the previous 70 years of my life, I have never slept this well. Not even as a little kid. Isn't that nice? Maybe I've just gotten really boring. I bore myself to sleep every night. That's what it is.
Did you wake up confused after your first 9-10 hours sleep?
No, you wake up and you go, I don't want to get up yet. It's too early. And you look at the clock, it's like, you've been sleeping for 10 hours. Get out of bed. Damn it. Oh, God, I did not even know what that felt like. I had no idea what it felt like to sleep like 9 hours in a row. Not a clue. Even when I was a teenager, because usually teenagers sleep really long hours, do they not?
Yes. When you're going through growth spurts, we've got, we have a teenager next door who will literally be like, I'm going to bed and it's 7 p.m. We're like, all right.
Yeah, see, we never had that at the house. It was always, you had to worry if dad was going to go off the deep end and stab you to death while you were sleeping. Maybe that's why I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, that's not super helpful for
really
anything.
Isn't. I got to be here. I got to tell you the honest God truth. It's not helpful at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I couldn't imagine living your childhood whatsoever.
No, it was interesting. There's no question about it. And people do not understand you carry that with you for the rest of your life. It's not something you ever forget. No question about it. But, it made me a stronger person. I will tell you that. I literally, because of that, because of the way my father acted when I was a little boy, I am not afraid of anyone.
I know you aren't. I'm sorry that happened to you as a kid, because that's terrible.
Yeah, but in a good way. When I got older, it really worked in my favor because everybody just leaves me alone.
No, I don't think there's too many positives, but
come on.
I will say I think you've healed a little bit because you've become the father that you've wanted. So
yeah, that's what I was trying to say at the beginning of the show. Yeah. What?
I do have a text from Sean about what's going on.
Okay. What does Sean say?
Nothing legislatively, just events. The co-op will be putting on an expo with the Office of Cannabis and Department of Agriculture, but there is no legislative milestones coming up. Still building the office and determining rules. Nothing will transpire in regards to licensing until this fall.
Another 9 months. Why is Minnesota always like that? Everybody else can handle it, but not Minnesota. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Brittany, when we get more information from Sean, I wonder, does he have any knowledge on, because they've had like the cannabis person that's supposed to help, kind of usher in this new era for Minnesota, but they've swapped people. Like they fired 2 of the people that were supposed to do it.
Oh,
so
really?
I wonder if he knows anything as far as behind the scenes, what they're struggling with over in
I'll ask if he can call in. He's been on our show before. He is super into he was very involved with the legislator. He was on in the newspaper with the whole picture of Ventura when they signed it. So
I just really don't understand why it is in Minnesota. Everybody else can get it done, but not Minnesota. We are going to have to take at least 4 to maybe 50 years. Then it'll happen. What is that?
I don't know. I feel like we're different, so we don't, because it's very easy just to go to Illinois and say, hey, what worked for you, what didn't. Now let's streamline our process. And we're kind of going through the same thing with everybody that wants to legalize sports gambling in Minnesota.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like that'll be another one that eventually it'll go through, but it's going to be another long, arduous process.
There have been a few states that on the first kicked in sports gambling. A few of them did. I noticed they had a list of Minnesota was not one on the list, but yeah, could we just do it? Just once you do this, get the hell out of the way. How about that? That's a good idea, isn't it?
Great idea.
Well, you remember for years you could not buy real beer on Sunday, but you could buy 3-2 beer. So instead of drinking a 6-pack, I'll drink a 12-pack and get just as hammered. What's the difference? Right?
Right.
Exactly.
Or you saw all the strings of liquor stores that would open up right on the border of Wisconsin and Minnesota and just rake it in on Sundays.
What are you saying, Tevin? I never drove over there on a Sunday. What do you mean?
When I first moved to Minnesota, I was unaware that you couldn't buy beer on Sundays. And I had a friend that he was like, we're getting a party bus to, go to the Vikings game.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, but we got to get a keg. I got to go to Wisconsin. I was like, what do you go to Wisconsin? Just go to Minnesota. He's like, no, like liquor stores are closed. So we would have to road trip to Wisconsin to go get it, whatever, your keg and bring it back. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, because you could booze it up as much as you wanted growing up in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, you could drink at the bowling alley if your parents were with you. And it was a different time back then. It was the Wild Wild West.
That's how I've heard another state. You can literally, if you're 5 years old, you can have a beer if you're with your parents.
Yeah, who cares? Graduation party. We're drunk with the parents. Yeah, whatever.
I don't even know who would enjoy that. Like, I wouldn't want to, as a kid, drink with my parents, and I don't think I'd want to be around my kid drinking at that. It was like, who's finding enjoyment in this?
Well, I've told you before, I will always thank God that my voice dropped when I was 11 years old, and that Tommy O'Brien didn't grow to his full height until he was probably in like 8th grade. So what would happen is I would call the liquor store. Yes, I'd like 2 cases of blah, blah, blah beer delivered to this address. And what would happen is when they pull up, I would run in, turn on the shower. And then Tommy would go to the door and goes, hey, Dad, the liquor store is here. Oh, son, I left the money on the television. Just give him that money and just tell him to leave it up. Worked every time.
That is so cool.
Every time it worked, because I had this, just leave I believe there's some money on the television. You can give that to him and give him a tip, son. Give him a nice tip.
It feels like the Home Alone 2, keep the change, you filthy animal.
You filthy animal.
It has that vibe to it.
I love you, filthy animal. I love that movie. That's a great movie.
I watched it over the over Christmas break here, and that movie, because it has a name when he puts the cassette tape in or the VHS tape in the VCR.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked it up. They just completely made that movie up for Home Alone.
Yeah,
because I was like,
really?
But no, completely made up.
God, I love that movie. I should watch that movie again. I haven't seen it in a long time. Were the other ones 2 and 3 any good?
People claim the New York one was good. The third one is a completely new kid. And
it is.
I wouldn't recommend it, but
no.
Yeah.
It's so funny. His younger brother's in Succession, isn't it? That's his younger brother.
Oh, he's so good in it too.
He is such a prick. Oh,
I think there's like something about it where I don't know if he's a good actor or if he's just playing himself the whole time.
It's so natural that you wonder, is he just playing himself here? No, you're right. That's a good call. Can your friend call in for about 10 minutes right after the break? Because we got.
I'll text him. I'll ask.
That'd be great because we could bring him in and then we can go right to Kristyn Burt. That'll be wonderful.
Perfect.
We shall take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes, hopefully with a special guest.
This is the Tom Barnard Show.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, zero resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant. Whatever it takes. Before you head back to one of the big box stores for hunting and shooting needs this season, do yourself a favor and visit my choice, K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lino Lakes. Not only does K&L have one of the widest selections of firearms and ammo in the Twin Cities, they also do business the right way. They want to make sure that you have the right firearm and the right ammo for your needs. Jim, the owner, has over 25 years of experience in the business and will help you find what you need at a fair price. Speaking of prices, a lot of stores are using inflation and supply shortages as an excuse to raise prices on ammunition. Not K&L. Jim's doing everything to hold the line on pricing so you can spend more time on the range. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. Go in and chat with Jim in person at the store on Lake Drive in Lino Lakes or online at klgunstore.com. How we doing? Oh, Britt just got back. She's putting on the headphones. What's happening?
All right, I got him. He's calling Andy right now.
He's calling Andrew. Oh, that's right. AJ, I got to remember that AJ leaves because I never say goodbye to him anymore. It bothers me that I don't say goodbye to him anymore.
Well, he knows it in his heart that you say
No, I mean, I want to say goodbye and don't ever come back. That's what I want to say. Yeah.
Well, he'll be back tomorrow.
Well, he'll be back tomorrow. AJ's a great guy. Hey, Andrew, what's up?
Not a ton, except we have Sean on the phone.
Sean, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and he said, oh, we've only got a couple more months till the legalized pot stores can open and all the rest of it. Is that the case, Sean, or what's your take on it? Because you're in the business, right?
Yeah, well, good morning. Happy New Year. I'm sorry, but your friend is misinformed.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now, you may or may not be aware, but we still do not have a director. But as the Office of Cannabis moves forward, they are building the staff. They are engaging with the general public in regards to some questionnaires, but we are a long way from establishing a set of rules And we're probably looking to, November, December before we're actually going to see some significant activity in regards to licensing. You're not going to see any stores open in 2024.
Wow.
None at all.
We're not going to. Well, I take that with a grain of salt. You can go out there right now and buy marijuana from stores that are operating illegally.
Oh.
I mean, there's a thing out there called THCA, which people think is this new magical molecule that's separate from THC, but it's just a fancy way of saying basically they're selling cocaine and labeling it sugar. Just because they say it's hemp and it's this magical new cannabinoid doesn't mean anything. It's straight up marijuana. So there's a number of tobacco stores that you can buy marijuana at under the label THCA. And we are trying to get the state of Minnesota to enforce that because there is a lot of good standing legal operators that are abiding by the law. And then you have a lot of these fly-by-night tobacco stores that don't care. So you can access it. But yeah, from a legal operating business.
Whoops, we lost them. Or did I lose you guys?
I can hear you, Tom.
Andy and Tevin are not even moving.
Why are we in a weird void together?
We are, you and I. You got Tevin and Andy are both just staring and haven't moved at all. Did we lose Sean?
Yeah, I don't know. We're in some magical side world.
What the hell? You and I are still on and nobody else is. That's weird. Oh, God. Should we go to break or something? What should we do here?
I don't know.
Brittany, you can't hear us at all?
No, we couldn't hear you.
But you can now.
Now we can. Me and Tom were in like a side world for a little
It was
while.
weird. All of a sudden, you guys couldn't move.
Yeah, we could hear you.
Really?
Yeah.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sean's back. Sean's back.
I'm so sorry if we were interrupting.
Internet is Z2Go just is freaking out now. So it is an internet issue on our end.
Okay, so Sean, what your companies you have is Crested River and Minnesota, right?
Correct.
And so how do you guys sell then?
So we are not a marijuana company. We are still a low potency hemp company. So we've been operating as we have since 2018. We can offer the low potency 5 milligram serving hemp based THC products, and we continue to do so. And we don't anticipate deviating until we have a clear pathway for licensing.
Yeah, that does make sense. Now, there are a couple, I won't name these stores because I assume they're doing it legally, but I don't know for sure if they are. I hope so. But you can buy like 5 milligram gummies, certain places in Minnesota, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can actually get them at Cub Foods, Byerly's, liquor stores now. So anybody that sells tobacco or alcohol is most likely selling low potency edibles and beverages.
Oh, so they can do that. What? So it's just the hemp itself. It's the plant itself they can't sell.
It's hemp derived THC. You're basically squeezing blood out of a turnip, making an intoxicating product.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can get. Are they going up to the 10 milligram? Because it was at the 5 milligram level for a long time. Are they going to jump it up to a 10 milligram at all?
The adult use space will have 10 milligram servings as well as 100 milligram packages. So it will be double of what we're seeing right now.
And when will that happen?
Next year. So we're going to spend this year. We're going to spend this year developing rules, putting together a licensing system, and then this time next year, people will be applying and being awarded licenses. Now, let's say that I've got all this money in my back pocket, just waiting to get spent. I could go out right now, build out my facility, build my retail stores, build out everything, and sit there and twiddle my thumbs for a year. And then when I get my license, I can open up immediately, But we need to understand that a lot of people aren't going to be pulling these triggers until they have that license secured. And so there is inherently another delay, right? From the time of obtaining your license to getting your infrastructure up and running. So, I mean, well-capitalized individuals could hit the market quicker.
I have a question for you. Here's the kind of thinking I do not understand. We'll sell you 2 5 milligram edibles, but not 1 10 milligram. What the hell's the difference?
Tom, don't confuse us with logic.
I just don't understand. I literally went into, and I won't say the name of the, I think it's totally legal what they're doing, but I go into this store and I buy like 20 10 packs of 5 milligram edibles. Right. So I got enough for a couple of months or a few months, whatever. What the hell's the difference if I could just go and buy 10 milligram. So I'd have 100 milligrams of, I just don't understand what the argument is. If you can buy it one way, why can't you buy it the other? It makes no sense.
The only argument that I can appreciate is child safety. So we don't want a single container sitting out, a child access it, open it up, and then basically ingest a bunch of edibles.
Right.
Limiting them to 5 milligrams and X number per package, we can limit the potential exposure. And that's really it.
Okay, because your mom and dad are irresponsible pains in the ass, I have to suffer. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's how this world works.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like how Minnesota doesn't let you buy grain alcohol above 80%.
Right.
But you can buy 2 bottles of 80% and down them if you so choose. So it's like, it's not really saving you from yourself to limit it to 80%. I'm sure it's some like weird tax thing. There's a law on the books from, 1600 that says that if it's over 80%, that they can't tax it as high or something like that.
Yeah. Sean, with the Minnesota not being able to find a director to kind of run everything, is there a reason behind it? I know they fired 2, correct? That they've had or either left or something?
Yeah, 1. So it's been an interesting process. I have my own opinions as to what might be going on. But yeah, at the end of the day, they hired a director. There was a little scandal behind it. We questioned the government's competency in doing a background check. But she formally resigned. And then the next person in line, or actually the original number 1 pick, who kind of tabled her application for a period of time, actually withdrew her application. And she's taking a low-level city job with Minneapolis. And so I don't have any intel on potential frontrunners at this time, but it really has to do with just there was potential health issues with someone and then potential incompetency issues with someone else, and we're kind of back at the drawing board.
So you will still be able to buy 5 milligram gummies that come in 10 packs, and you could buy as many packs as you want, right?
Correct.
So none of this makes any sense to me at all. I can do whatever I want, but you're going to make it harder for me to do it. And it's really still not hard because I go in and go, yeah, give me 20 of those. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's, that's my last question for you, Sean, would be, the cost of it, because there are certain states where pot is a lot cheaper than other states.
Yeah, absolutely. It all really comes down to supply and demand. Initially this market is going to see higher prices than we're going to experience a year or 2 down the road. Now, in states like California and Washington, you go out there right now, it's completely saturated. You can pick up bulk flour for pennies on the dollar. I mean, 5 years ago, you could demand up to $3,000 a pound, and now you're getting pounds for $300-400.
Oh God! Oh my God! Unbelievable. Yeah, there's a. Go ahead, sir.
I was just going to say, down in Oklahoma, it's kind of the wild, wild west. There's like 5,000 medical companies that are operating. They don't have any adult use cannabis, but the medical market is flooded, and all of that flower is getting sent out of state to some of these less saturated markets so people can recoup some of their lost profits from some of these saturated states. So there's actually some interstate trafficking going on, so that some of these people don't have to just close up shop.
I've been
Now,
doing some.
I can't prove any of this, but it's pretty common knowledge.
Right. No, exactly. Well, if anybody would know, it would be you. There's no question about it. I'll close with this, that I've been doing some traveling lately. And, you go in, like I said, in Minnesota, you go in and buy pods in 5 milligram dosages, little edibles. I walked into a shop, grabbed a bag of edibles. I walk up and I put it down. And he said, sir, are you from here? And I said, no, I'm not. He goes, you do know that bag of edibles you get are 50 milligram edibles. I'm like, what? 50? Who the hell could do a 50 milligram edible? Wouldn't that just knock you out?
A better part of the population, yes. But there are some saturated individuals such as myself. I would be able to function off of 50 mil. I'd be able to function off of 50 milligrams. But I wouldn't recommend it.
I would have
high functioning alcoholic.
Yeah, that's true. Sean, thank you so much for calling in. I did not know it's going to be over another year before we see any of this stuff. I literally, but I suppose as long as they sell the 5 milligrams, if you need 20 milligrams to sleep, you can take 4 or 5 milligram ones and you're good to go. I usually take 10 and I get some wonderful sleep from that. No doubt about it.
I mean, we would need to say that we are going to move this forward as quickly as possible, but we don't want to mismanage expectations. So if we under promise and over deliver, I think the population will be happy with that.
I will close with this. You made a hero out of me in my neighborhood, because my neighborhood right off of 169 and 62, we get together every Friday night. There are about 10 houses. They bring chairs out and we all sit in a big circle and just talk and schmooze. And because of you, I once brought a case of THC out. They were the happiest people. The drinks I'm talking about. You made them all very happy, Sean. I will tell you that.
Well, we'll have to send you a New Year's care package then, Tom.
Well, thank you, sir. Come back soon. If you don't mind, Sean, I would like to reach out to you once in a while, see where things are, how they're headed. Because there are also some drops we were talking about earlier today that if you take about, I guess, I don't know, 0.25 milligrams, 0.50 milligrams, it puts you to sleep in a heartbeat. Will that be available, or is that going to take another year and a half?
Without knowing exactly what you're talking about, it might be available right now.
Oh, it might be. Okay. Well, excellent.
Yeah.
Next time you're on, I'll make sure I grab a bottle of it to just, because I don't even know the name of it. But Sean, thank you so much for being with us. It's great having you on, because we learned that you can, if you need to sleep, you can get some 5 milligrams. But if you want just the single dosage, 10 milligram, you're going to have to wait about another year and a half, sounds like. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, young man. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, take care, everyone.
Bye, Sean.
Sean, see, honest to God, when I brought out that case of THC, my neighbors were like, "You're my favorite."
Yeah. Yeah. He last time he was on, he gave us so much stuff.
He did.
And it was so wild. So I had to, when we put it in our pantry, I'm like, I've had this nervous, it was the Minnesota ones are so cute, like mini soda. I was like, Justin, I can't make this clear enough. This is not like fun pop. This is fun pop. And he's like, oh, okay.
That's very true. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. Kristyn will join us right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombarnardshow.com.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take personal care dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. You have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows and the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. Set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. And for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more. You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to show you this. We were just talking, Kristyn, about THC in Minnesota. It's not going to be available other than 5 milligram doses for at least another year and a half. They think something like that, because this is Minnesota and we always do things like that. Oh, everybody else is in, but we're going to have to take another 5 years to decide in Minnesota. Minnesota's always been that way. But the stuff is called alternative, not alternative, but alternative full spectrum tincture, 1,500 milligrams. I do 0.50 milligrams a night. So this is an entire month's worth. Can you see that? Is that close enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it right there. So that's a month's supply. For me, that's a month's supply. Most people take the full tincture, but I don't even, that's got to be, that's 0.10 milliliters. That's a lot. I would sleep, but yeah, this stuff really helps me sleep a lot. So again, I'll show it to you. Take a picture of it.
Yeah.
See? I don't know if they have that in Minnesota or not. Does anybody know?
Yeah, they have something similar to that. A lot, I believe Minnesota, a lot of them are like Delta 9, which is like a variant of THC.
Right.
Those things, you better make sure that you don't have anything left of your day that you need to accomplish. You take 2 drops or 1 drop or whatever of that, and you better be about 3 steps away from your bed because you don't have long before you're sleeping.
Yep, that's exactly what that stuff does. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristyn Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Kristyn Bird, how are you?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Did you hear about the story about a guy and a woman had a baby just before midnight on December 31st, and then just after midnight on January 1st? They had twin boys born in different years.
That's wild.
It really is when you look at it that way. That's very
It really
wild.
is. Well, and in prior, in the way they used to do schooling, the cutoff what used to be December 31st. So the kids would actually be in 2 different grades. I think it's like September 1st now for kids to go into school. But that would have been really funny having 2 boys in totally separate grades.
Because they were born 15 minutes apart.
Right. And look, they get a tax break each year for each kid, though.
Oh,
there you
not
go.
bad.
Add another one next year. It's kind of exciting.
That's true. You're absolutely right about that. So what's the good stuff coming up for 2024? We got some great stuff coming up.
Well, it's gonna be we're gonna ease into it this year. Let's put it that way. I think what we need to do is kind of ride through the next 5 or 6 weeks, because then we'll start seeing at least mid-season replacements coming on TV and some of our favorite shows return. If everyone can kind of like hang tight till somewhere around like February 7th, we'll start seeing a lot of our favorite shows come back that we didn't get to see in the fall. So I think it is good news. But the forecast for Hollywood really is a smaller, leaner, meaner, tighter Hollywood when it comes to budgets. And I think anyone who got that lovely notice from Amazon Prime about ads coming now to all of our shows.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be happening January 29th. I know a lot of people were very upset saying, hey, I already paid you for the year for an ad-free experience. How dare you add those ads in? And of course, you can buy a premium package if you don't want ads, but that's always been the case. But it just seems to be so weird. We've just spent the last 10 years running, into a pool with no water with streaming and going, look at this. Now you don't have to watch commercials. And now they're like, whoa, hold the brakes. We're actually going back to the old format.
Well, a friend of mine told me, and he's one of those kind of guys, if he's getting one, he's getting them all. He's always been that way about everything. So I don't know how many streaming channels there are available, but he bought them all, and all of them he bought ad free. His bill is like $2,000 a month to watch television.
The networks love him for that. That's exactly the consumer who you want if he's going to keep it every month. I know a lot of people have taken a kind of look at their subscriptions going, what do we really need this year? What's going to work? And again, we do have a possible merger on our hands with Warner Brothers, which would be Max, of course, along with Paramount Plus. So that could be an interesting thing to watch, because and Showtime's already rolled itself into Paramount Plus. So it might get cheaper in some ways for people that have every single subscription.
And Disney too might become part of that, from what I understand. Is that correct?
Disney would not. Disney Plus is its own entity. But I think that the big change would be Hulu, which Disney also owns. They are buying out Comcast. So Comcast still has a small share. ABC, or Disney, I should say, is buying out the rest of that at some point in this first quarter of the year.
It is pretty amazing. Streaming television, television, you can't even deny, is the best it's ever been. Television is phenomenal now.
Television's been able to tell stories that they haven't been able to do at the movies. And I think that's the big thing. I'm really hoping we see in the coming years some changes when it comes to what theatrical releases, because for a lot of us, they're too long, or it's been too many superhero movies. And I would say studios like Disney especially are going to have to reassess. And remember, they're not just looking a year out, because these movies are already in the can. So they've got to start looking a decade out, going, where are the trends? What do people want to see?
It is so amazing. You look at the Catherine and I watch things like Succession, Reacher. Whatever you want is available to you to watch. No matter what format you like, there's tons of it, which is terrific. Those shows are amazingly good.
Yeah. And the nice thing is they're always available. So it's not like the old days, like you'd have to catch it or you'd have to record it. Even if you missed it in the first run or you missed the first couple seasons, it is available to you. You've got that library, which is what I think makes streaming so attractive to people.
You know what's hilarious about what you just said? Looking back, and Andy was about 20 years ago when all that, they came to the house and hooked our television up so we could get alternative programming. You remember that, don't you?
Alternative programming.
Well, you could record everything you wanted. What was the name of that again?
TiVo? Like the DVR?
Yeah. What did you say? TiVo. Yeah, TiVo. You remember TiVo?
Yeah, I was probably somewhere between 12 and 14. Yeah, it was somewhere 20-something years ago.
And I do remember thinking, well, this guy had it all connected and we could record whatever we want and watch it, whatever we wanted to watch and whatever. I looked at Catherine and went, TV will never get better than this. This is the best.
It was really good.
It was really good. Now it's gotten about 5 times better than that even. But yeah, I mean, one thing that Catherine and I tend to like the same type of shows, which really does help. Now, do you guys in your marriages, do you differ a lot from your husbands or wives or girlfriends or whatever? Do you differ a lot on what you like to watch?
100%.
Do you
Bill and I
really?
do not like the same things at all. He will watch my shows just because he's nicer than I am.
That's
But
what I've always said. That's
yeah, he's
true.
a lot kinder. I'm just like, no, I'm not watching Star Trek tonight. And I will just like right now he's on a huge, like it's like Captain Picard, it's Star Trek. He's watching like all the seasons, all
Oh,
the
yeah.
shows right now.
Yep.
And some nights I just go, TV's all yours. We only have one TV in our house anyway. And I am entrenched right now in watching Lifetime's Gypsy Rose Blanchard docuseries, which is coming out later this week. They're doing a feature on it. So I'm like, I'll watch that on my laptop. You go watch Star Trek, and everyone in the house is happy.
Are people happy with the fact that, because Catherine and I love the fact there are so many British shows now available on streaming? Do people like that?
I'm not a big British humor fan. I got to be
No.
honest. No, it's not my thing. And the other thing, I think it's just like British things in general. Like if you start with like the period costumes and all the accents, I'm out. I'm out.
Well, that's so funny you bring that up, because there's a show called Endeavor. There are 4 shows a year. Each show is an hour and a half long. So it's like watching a movie. And there are sometimes, depending where they go in England, and it depends on which part of England they're in, you watch it. And some parts are like, I was talking to the man yesterday. Oh, yeah, what did he tell you? He told me everything's okay. Then they go to another part of England. I was talking to the man yesterday. Oh, also. You're like, what the hell did he just? You have no idea what the guy just said.
You put on the captions?
No, we're going to have to, though, because I'm like, what the hell did he just?
I have a question for Tevin on this, because I just saw a report that like it's always sort of like the thing that boomers put on the captions because they can't hear or whatever. But I've heard that like Gen Z and Alpha Gen are very excited about using captions when it comes to TV. So Tevin, are you a caption guy?
I am caption guy by force. My girlfriend, you would think the TV's muted if the captions aren't on. She will be sitting there while I'll be watching a movie and she'll turn the captions on. I can't hear it. I'm like, so now,
well, you still can't hear it. Then you're just reading it at that
right.
point.
And it's like, whatever, I'll watch it now and it's not that big of a deal. But there are certain aspects of where you find yourself just reading the words the whole time. You're not paying attention to the little subtle things in the background.
100%.
So I don't really like it. Or if it's a sporting event, if you turn the captions on, you're getting kicked out of the house because we're not here to hear what
Can't
the
even
announcer's
see the
saying
score.
anyway. Right. But no, captions you can do without them. But my girlfriend swears up and down it's the greatest thing ever.
Supposedly it's a generational thing. It's a young generation thing and an older generation thing. And then like millennials and Gen X are like, no captions. They
Well,
don't want anything to do with them.
we don't do captions on TV ever, but when I play video games, I always have captions on 100% of the time. I don't know if it's just like the way they mix the sound or what, but in games, I can't understand anything anyone's saying. I have to have the captions on.
Or if somebody's sleeping, I'll turn the captions on because I'll have the volume down lower. So then I'll be okay. That way I don't disrupt. But yeah.
There are certain shows that I find are quiet shows, like Mad Men. Sometimes you'd have to have captions on. You're like, what are they saying? They're whispering. But then you get to if you hit a commercial on that show, it's like the levels. I'm like, how have we not controlled levels on TV and just say this is the set level across the board? Because instead, it's just all of a sudden, if you've ever fallen asleep with the TV on, all of a sudden a commercial comes blaring on. And you're like, what's happening?
Yeah, there's no question about that. I mean, we love the fact that I don't know why it is, Andy. Do you know why Mom and I tend to like the exact same shows?
Melissa and I pretty much like the same things. Not exact same, but very similar.
Yeah, Catherine's got a couple of things she watches, but I mean, in general, I would say 98% of the stuff we watch because we both like it.
Yeah, we don't. I mean,
different deal.
Neither of us is willing to suffer through something for the other person.
No,
I mean, if we like absolutely hate it, then we're not going to watch it. It's like we recently started watching Futurama, which Melissa was never really interested in, but I don't know why. She just was like, "Hey, let's give Futurama a try," and she didn't like it at first, but now she's starting to warm up to it. but she never really like hated it. Like, oh, gotta go 22 minutes of this again. So I don't know. I think if you're watching something you hate just because the other person wants to watch it, that's probably not a good thing.
No, I agree with that. Well, yeah, your mom and I would not do that. But Kristyn, the one thing I will tell you is some of these shows, I mean, honest to God, as you're watching them, you just kind of go, I hate everyone on this show. Succession is a good example.
Yeah, I
hate everybody on that show, but I love the show.
I don't get it. Watching shows where you just don't want anyone to succeed because they're all awful.
Exactly.
That's a reality show.
Yeah, I never really liked reality shows either.
Yeah, I was never a reality. But yeah, every person from the dad all the way down to the youngest kid on the show is just an asshole. God, they're bad people.
But there's something likable about them. That's why you continue to
Gotta
watch.
be.
And so, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if it's just a despicable character, you're going to tune out. And that's why always playing people who do play villains very well always have a thread of humanity in them. There's something about it. There's like one tiny redeeming quality that you're like, okay, I can continue to watch this. Because if you're just despicable all around, you're just like, well, what's the point?
Well, the lead guy on the show, and when the show starts, he's just getting out of the hospital. He had a stroke or something. Brian, what the hell is his name? I cannot remember his last name, but he is absolutely terrific because he has sons, and they come in and talk to him, and he has the son and the daughter in at one point, and they're discussing this other business that they all own, and the son goes on and on and on about, I straightened everything out. I know it's been a problem, but I've got this company straightened out. It's ready to go. I worked very, very hard on this for a couple of months, but that business is solid now. So you don't have to worry about it ever again. And then they have another little conversation. At the very end of the conversation, the dad turns it down and goes, shut that business down.
He was.
I mean, it's brutal, but it's funny.
That was Brian Cox.
Brian Cox. That's exactly who it is.
And he does the voice of he's McDonald's now.
Yeah,
and he was brutal. The writing of that character, he was constantly keeping them on edge. Never wanted them to feel secure. Always was pitting them against each other.
True.
That show was so good, and the ending was so satisfying.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm only two seasons in so far.
Oh my God! Yes,
we'll have to get you to the end of Succession and discuss it.
Oh God, those people are such jerks. Every one of them is such a jerk.
Yeah,
it is unbelievable. Any new things coming up in the new year that we should know about?
Like I said, we're going to start seeing around early February. And I mean, I think you'll be excited. February 7th, Abbott Elementary. And that's going to be right after the Super Bowl. So it got that coveted spot this year, which is good for them because that will give them kind of good momentum to coming back. But we're going to see truncated seasons for everything on network. So instead of, doing like a full 20 to 25 episodes, they're probably going to be doing something closer to what they do on streaming. They're going to be doing 8 to 10. So, and which is going to be interesting because they're already saying, even though the primetime Emmys are in 2 weeks for the 2023 shows, we're already moving into Emmy season for 2024. It's going to be a very light Emmy season next September because these shows will only have 8 episodes, or some of the shows won't even be coming back until 2025. So it's going to mix up even the award show season for the next couple of years because of the strikes in 2023.
So that it was all about the strikes because they did go on for quite some time, right?
Yeah, over 6 months, the biggest disruption, not only to television and film, but also to the economy of Los Angeles and Atlanta and parts of Canada and New York. So it's been very interesting in the recovery. And I know that, I went to a Pilates class yesterday, and the gym that it is in, a lot of the stunt people are there, and they're saying we are not getting back to work as quickly as we thought. God. So a lot of people feel like, I think everyone thought the second that the strike was over, it'd be like, okay, go, and everybody's working. The problem is, and this makes a lot of sense when you think about it, several actors are in several different movies and committed to TV shows, and they're trying to figure out the schedule. And that's why someone like Zendaya is being pushed, her show Euphoria is being pushed to 2025. They can't align her schedule because she has too many other projects lined up. So they're having a lot of juggling to do, and that is why some productions are slower out of the gate.
Do you think TV is the best it's ever been?
It was. It definitely was. And we have just like
okay.
marked the end of a chapter. The end of the chapter, I would say, probably ended with the start of the strikes because there was a contraction in the economy, which was going to happen anyway. But then there was a strike. You had effects of the pandemic. It was kind of like the perfect storm of things. And studios have really had to reassess. And I think the biggest studio that's going to have to reassess is Disney. And we talked a lot about them last year. They can't bank on their Marvel strategy anymore. They have to, I know that they're trying to get people to go back to the theater by re-releasing some of their Pixar films, but it's going to be a struggle. And even today, or it started yesterday, actually, Steamboat Willie, like the original Mickey Mouse film, is public domain. And we already see a slasher film. They released the trailer.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Mickey's Mousetrap. They're going to do something similar like they did with Winnie the Pooh last year with Blood and Honey. And Disney's like, we're still protecting the modern day Mickey Mouse that this is the old school one. But they are going to struggle with some of this because, yes, it's not the most popular Mickey that we're familiar with, but they're not going to have that protection anymore that they're always so protective over all of their domains. And it doesn't exist anymore with at least one of their properties of Mickey and Minnie.
Well, I don't know. I remember when the original Winnie the Pooh designs went public domain, everyone was like, oh, you're going to see it everywhere, but it never happened. No one really cared that much.
It actually does, though. If you're like on TikTok and stuff, people will utilize those images on drinking cups, T-shirts, things like that. So it's going out to a different audience than just like, hey, it's there in Target with like a Winnie the Pooh T-shirt. So it's definitely out there.
I have a question for you. And I can't remember where it was because I saw it on TV over the weekend. But they raised the base limit for income. You have to make a certain amount of money an hour. They raised it in I think the 5 biggest states in America, I think. And there is a food chain. Instead of raising the rate to what they determined it should be, they fired everyone. Have you seen that story?
Pizza Hut fired their delivery drivers in California.
They did. Yep.
Because fast food in California the minimum wage is $20 an hour now. So that means that they're going to rely upon DoorDash and some of the other apps for delivery service instead of paying their drivers. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, and I think a lot of that $20 per hour, it's going to raise meal prices, of course. So it's going to be passed on to the consumer, of course.
But here's what I don't understand. So you raise the minimum wage in your state and all those people lose their jobs. How do you think that worked?
Yeah. California's hemorrhaging millionaires right now.
$63 billion they lost last year.
Yep.
63 billion.
You got to do these things gradually. You can't just be like, bang, we're doubling everything.
I don't think it did Gavin Newsom much good running for president, finding out that he always thought, oh, we're doing so well. Well, why are you $63 billion in debt then?
Yeah.
We had a surplus a year ago. Like that's the crazy
1 year
thing.
ago.
And they gave us all money back. We all got money back. And I was like, well, thanks. And then all of a sudden, like,
trying to buy your votes with it.
Huge deficit.
They did a little vote buying with other people's money. That's what these politicians do now. Most politicians are filthy pigs. Let's be honest. They just are. They're going to take your money.
Presidential election year, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. It's
going to be a brutal year.
Oh God, it's going to be tough, isn't it? No question about it. But
it's an Olympic year too, so I'm going to sort of relish in all of that.
No question. What's the rate now in Florida? Is it like 13.5 or 14% for state tax?
How do we know?
Well,
you're the Floridian.
Kristyn would know.
Yeah, you're the one.
When I say Florida, I'm in California.
Yeah, I mean,
for
you meant tax California? In California, we're at like 9.25.
Oh, that's all because it's going up,
If it probably went up yesterday, if something. I didn't buy anything yesterday. I don't know. But it was 9.25 as of 2 days ago.
It was expected to rise 1.1% in 2024.
So it's going to be about 11 or 12% then.
It's going to be 10.5% if that's one.
I thought it was a point in something. Yeah, whatever it is. Does New York have the highest state rate in the country? I don't even know.
I don't know. I mean, when I lived in New York City, it was expensive because that city tax just
city
killed
tax.
you. City tax,
highest rate
absolutely.
is, in fact, California. The top rate is 13.3.
Yeah, that's what I said, and you guys said no, it isn't.
I didn't say
we
that.
said we don't know.
I said I don't know. Also, you asked about Florida.
Yeah, because I
could have
misspoke.
answered that question. It's 0.
They had 0. They don't have any state tax in Florida. That's right.
Hawaii is actually higher than New York by 0.1%.
Really? What is it?
11.
It's 11.
So New York's highest is 10.9%.
God,
which
13.2%.
Why wouldn't you just keep it a nice round number? Just do 11. Is that 0.1% really going to change anything?
Yeah, I mean, when it's millions and billions of dollars that's being
but that's not my problem, so I don't care.
You don't care about that. I don't know. It's going to be pretty interesting to see where all this stuff ends up in the end, because I mean, a state tax that's 13.2%. That is a big state tax,
That's
man.
the state by itself. Add in federal, and you've got to be hitting 50%.
Well, and as Kristyn pointed out, there are city taxes in some states too. Some states pay city tax. So all of a sudden now, what's the top federal rate? Like 38%, something like
37.
that?
So
37,
50% if you would add in the California state.
And then you add the city tax on, you're getting close to 55, 60%.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm sorry, there's a city income tax?
Some cities have
Some
special
cities
income
do.
taxes.
Yep.
Yeah, New York City does.
It's insane.
Ugh. How's that check looking there, Ralph?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. What's the state income tax in Nevada? 0.
Yeah.
It's 0. Yes.
Let's see. Does Minnesota have
We have
any?
to live in Nevada.
No, Minnesota does not have any city income taxes.
No, it does not. Right.
Doesn't look like Florida does either.
But it has one of the highest state taxes in the country.
California has a 0.38% income tax, or San Francisco in California.
San Francisco,
but
yeah.
I think that's the only one.
Well, I thought LA had one too. They don't. Only San Francisco has city tax.
I don't think we do here, unless you run a business.
probably
But
not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just know it's a lot of money. That's all I have to say is that it's a lot of money paid out, and there's no question about that. And it just.
but you also then earn a lot of money in California. Like that's the other thing.
Yeah. No, it's true.
You earn more.
Well, you
money
have
in
to earn a lot of
California.
money in California. You'd starve to death. I mean, you just
very
have to.
easily and very quickly.
Very easily and very quickly.
And that's been one of the gripes among physicians as far as insurance reimbursement. It is not, even though you're giving the same service, ostensibly nationwide, some states pay higher than others, which is a real sticking point for many physicians.
Well, here's an interesting list here. Do you know the concept of purchase power parity?
No.
So basically what it says is if I earn $1 in Minnesota and I earn $1 in California, I'm not actually earning the same amount of money because prices are higher in California than Minnesota.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Minnesota and California probably isn't the best comparison because they're not actually that different, but you know what I mean.
If you did like an Alabama to
Exactly,
California.
that sort of thing. Yeah, Appalachia versus LA, the money is completely different. And there's a list here, per capita income adjusted by regional price parity. And California is about in the middle. Wyoming is actually very near the top. North Dakota as well.
Really?
People don't make as much, but things are so cheap there that it balances it all out.
I guess
Well,
so.
and the other thing, like I lived in New York City and I was not making a ton of money. I was, younger, and it was very easy to get by. I don't think it is now, but I'm saying like at the time it was very easy to get by on very little in New York City, even though it was expensive. Like a lot of your money went to rent, of course, but it was easy to buy food very cheap. Like there was a grocery store next to me and I could buy a banana and a bagel for 50 cents in total. You have like the little coffee shops, you have like the Chinese food lunch deals that give you like a full meal and a soda and an egg roll on top of it. At the time, it's like $5. It's probably about $10 now. So in cities, I find that there are ways to there are hacks to like eat, where maybe in rural areas, it's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, no question. Okay, I got to ask everybody because we have 7 people on the show right now, so I got a big crowd to ask this question because I kind of opened the show with it. I lost a couple of friends over the break. Ian Punnett died, and then a few days later, Pat Ebertz died. They were both very, very good friends of mine, so it made me internalize things. Alex and her family were in town, so we were having a lot of fun. But I was thinking about this whole situation. With my friends dying and all the rest of it. And the local media did not handle it well at all. They played politics with it and the whole deal, which pissed me off to no end. What do you think the best way? Look, like I said, I like Democrats, I like centrists, I like Republicans. You get too far out with the way right or the way left, I'm not a big fan because it's just, they're so mean about it. Why is it as you move away from center, both to the left and right, why do people get so mean? What is that all about? It's just being extreme anyway. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I mean, you can say the same thing about religion, either extremely religious people or extremely anti-religious people, both very mean.
Yep. Yeah, it's the same. What can we do to get past this? It's okay. You want to be way far left or way far right. Why don't you just calm down? You believe what you believe. You don't have to hate me because I don't agree with you. Why do they go immediately to anger and hatred? And the reason I'm bringing this up is I was asking people on elevators for the last 7 or 8 days because I was thinking about my friends dying. How can we stop being so mean to one another? And they all got very excited, said, you're right. We got to stop being so mean to one another. This is just too much. I think America's getting sick to death of it. You agree with that?
Social media, get rid of it.
Yeah,
I agree. It's terrible. I don't go on social media, so I don't know any of this stuff. But then when I do run into someone who's big and involved in it, they're so damn mean. It is unbelievable. And they learned that from social media, you think?
Well, I think social media gave people a voice. And so everyone can hide behind a keyboard and be as kind or as mean as they choose. And if people are feeling mean or feeling bad about themselves, they can get on a keyboard and make other people feel bad. And I think that's because, I know this even just with like articles I write or like an interview I'll do. If someone doesn't like it or doesn't like something I said, they'll come at me instead of actually at the content itself, and I'm always like, it has nothing to do with me. I don't care if you like me or not. That's fine. But it's like you want to attack me because you're feeling bad about yourself.
And why do you want to attack another person that has nothing to do with why you feel bad? I don't get it. I just really don't get it. It didn't used to be that way. Do you think we'll ever get past that, or will social media make it even worse?
Well, actually, the phenomenon we're talking about was the earliest known example was noted by Johnny Carson.
Yeah. Yep.
1978. He mentioned that CB radio, because everyone's anonymous, nobody knows who you are or where you are. People act like total assholes on there. And CB radio was like basically the first social media where you just broadcast to an audience and whoever's listening has to hear it and they don't know who you are. And
that's
it's like
crazy.
It is. And that's just like, it's human nature to, if you take someone, it's actually the way I heard of it is a web comic from the early 2000s called Penny Arcade.
Oh yeah.
He basically said, you take a normal person, you add anonymity and an audience, and you get a total dickhead.
It's true.
And
it's been
a thing for decades and decades. I think it's the human nature. People can't handle anonymity and an audience because it's like making them drunk, basically. They just lose all their inhibitions because our inhibitions come from fear of, reciprocation or something like that.
And there's little consequence. I mean, what do? You report the tweet.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, maybe it gets escalated. If it's a dangerous situation, it gets escalated to the police. But in general, at worst, they're going to cancel your account or suspend it for a little while. There's no consequence in general.
Has TikTok made it worse?
I don't think TikTok's made it worse. I think that, to me, the worst place to be is on Twitter, which is now known as X.
That's right.
Especially since Elon Musk's takeover, it has become a landscape. I don't even want to visit there. That is, you can put up one tweet and people will find it could be a happy little general tweet and people that's just blah blah blah, and you're like, what? They'll just come right in and attack you. So and there's not a lot of protection there anymore. When before Elon Musk owned it, I know for journalists, we had a lot more protections if people started attacking you about an article you did and you'd report it and they would like take care of it. Now they're like, nope, sorry, that's free speech. Sorry. And you're like, no, they're actually talking about assaulting me. No, that's not free speech.
Oh, and they lied. The thing that amazed me about it, one of the reasons I got off it, they would call people homophobes and racist and call people, none of it was true. Why were they allowed to get away with saying those kinds of things about other people?
I don't know. It's just not a happy place to be now that Elon owns it. That's what I will say.
No, I'm talking about all social media, not just Elon Musk.
Yeah.
All of it.
I do think that they all have problems. I do think that there's certain levels to the problems.
Well, I got off social media 12 years ago because people were I literally spent half of my day threatening people, saying, I'm at 2000 Southeast Elm Street. Come on by. We'll have a little discussion. I mean, that was my day every damn day for about 6 months. I finally went, I've had it. I don't want to be on this anymore.
I remember your tweets.
They were a little vicious, were they?
They should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, yeah.
All of it.
Mine are literally like,
look
at this cute dress. Here's a kitten. Like, really, here's an article. Like, I really try and keep mine pretty light. So I don't engage with people. And if people throw something my way that they hate about me, I just don't engage. I'm like, mute, block, report. It's not worth I don't waste any emotional energy on people. It's not worth it.
Well, and that's why I asked it, because I know we got to go. We're already late as hell, but people have carried that attitude into their real lives. That's what pisses me off about it. It's not just on social media or whatever. They've taken that social media, because everybody has their own social media persona. It's not really them. It's a version of them that maybe they wanted to be a tough guy or something or whatever. But it's gotten worse and worse. From what I heard, I don't go on it. Has it gotten a lot worse? And is it because of X or whatever?
I just say X is probably the worst place to go. The other ones I visit regularly and have no issue.
Well, there you have it. All right, get the hell. Speaking of getting X'd out, get off the show, damn it.
Bye. See y'all tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow. We'll take a break. Be right back. Oh, I got to do this first, though. Kristyn Bird Entertainment News is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We will take a quick break, be right back, wrap things up. And then, of course, the family podcast will begin a few minutes after that. Be right back.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and
There we
more.
go. I can hear
Same
you now.
goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. It is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did, and tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. We are back. No, we just have one story here, and then we're going to the break and bring in the morning show. Is that, I mean, the family show?
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to make sure that I'm still in that situation. All passengers on Japan Airlines jet evacuated after plane's collision. Apparently, a jet landed on top of another jet, and the 4 or 5 guys, I know 4 of the 5 are dead already. Is the other one dead now, too?
I think it was 5, and I believe it was a Coast Guard plane, like a small Coast Guard plane that they hit, and there was all 5 of the Coast Guard members that passed away.
Oh, they all died? No, because one was still alive in the hospital, but did he die now?
Oh, I'm not sure about him. I guess I saw that 5, I believe, was the
then he would have died then, yeah. Because 4 of them died immediately, and one was taken to the hospital, was hanging on, but it sounds like he may have died. So how does that happen that you land a jet on top of it? Because that was like a 5-seater airplane, that Coast Guard plane, right?
I believe so, yes.
Not very big. So how does that happen that you can land a gigantic jet on top of a 5-seater?
That'd be either an air traffic control failure or that 5-seater wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's got to be one or the other. It's
One of the
very,
two.
very important.
Or I guess the pilot of the airliner ignored ATC, but I kind of doubt that.
It was not a big day yesterday in Japan. We got jets landing on top of other jets. The big jet burst into flames, but everybody got off the big jet. And then also they had an earthquake in Japan over the weekend. Holy! Did you guys see the video of that stuff?
Well, yeah, the small plane that was crushed in this collision was an earthquake relief jet thing.
Oh, it was? Okay.
There was like a bunch of earthquake relief people. So I'm guessing they got in there in an emergency situation, and maybe proper clearance wasn't had.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
We'll probably know in a few more days.
But I'm honest, God, have you seen that plane on fire? The big jet?
Yeah, and it's kind of strolling down the runway, and then there's video of people whipped out their cell phones and were recording from the inside, and there's just smoke and orange glow. It's surprising that nobody burned to death or died on that big plane.
Yeah.
Did that ever happen to you? Because one time in my life, because I've been flying since I was 16 years old, my sister Vicky bought me a ticket to go see my brother Terry in California, my very first flight. But one time in my whole life of flying, we coming in for a landing at MSP Airport in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, and we were looked to be about maybe a couple hundred feet off the ground. All of a sudden, that plane jacked straight up into the air. And I mean, like a rocket going straight up in the air. I said, I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, probably a little uncomfortable, but we were about to land on another airplane.
Oh.
Okay. Well,
it's a good pilot.
Yeah, it's a really good pilot right there.
Most cases, that would not have gone very well.
Yeah, the Japanese airliner, you'd think he would have seen that plane on that.
Well, it was a tiny little Coast Guard plane in pitch black of night.
Yeah. I suppose that's true. Well, why don't we take that break, come back, and I'll go tell Nana to get in here and join us.
All right.
Alex, what time do you have to hit the road?
11:30.
No, we better get at it then. We'll be right back and kick off the family show right after this.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you. Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
You have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows and the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. Set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98, and for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more.
Tom Barnard is back. Every weekday, you'll hear Tommy B, Brittany Arneson. Yes, that Brittany Arneson. Along with Tom's pals, Kent Herbeck on Fridays, Bob Sansevier, Mike Stretch Gelfand, Tim Lammers, and from Channel 5 Eyewitness News, Chris Eggert and Kristyn Burt on entertainment and pop culture. It's Tom and the crew with opinions on news, opinions on life, opinions on entertainment, and of course, opinions on other people's stupid opinions. The Tom Barnard Show is a podcast, so you can listen when you want to listen. In the car, on the way to or from work, at home, on the job site, or wherever you need your Tommy B Show fix. Hear the show on the Tom Barnard Show app in your app store, as a podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts, or see it on YouTube on the Tom Barnard Show channel.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
For some reason, our intro music is not back, but
that's what I kind of figured.
That's all I
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show with
Tevin Pittman,
Alex Brandt Bernard Rasmussen,
Hackmaster Ralph Joey Basham, MD,
Andy Brandt Bernard,
co-host Catherine Brandt. I don't know.
Tom, and our special guest,
Timmy.
So, Timmy, we've been talking about everything from top to bottom here. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
What's the latest in your life?
Well, obviously, I have to mention how I'm still heartbroken.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Here's the weird thing. I mean, I feel like the rookie in this situation. I probably knew Pat the least out of all of you. about 10 years, but obviously when you met the guy, you felt like you knew him your whole life. So it's devastating. I'm still just shaken by the whole thing, and I'm so heartbroken for his kids, and obviously I know all of you are too, and especially Tom and Catherine being your cousin, and so obviously I have to bring this up first because there's just nothing bigger going on right now than that. But my people say, oh, you shouldn't say thoughts and prayers, but really it does matter. It mattered to Pat. Pat was a very religious fella and
super Catholic.
Yeah, a man of deep faith, and I always respected his faith. And all I can say is God bless him. Again, I don't know. I don't know what else you want to say. I know you probably have talked about it this morning, and it's very, very tough.
No, it is very tough to talk about. But I will tell you one thing I did take away from it, because I'm trying to learn more today about this as well. But I started off the week. I'm going to see Alex and her family, and then Andy's going to come, and I'm going to see his family, and I'm here with Catherine, and just these wonderful, wonderful thoughts. And I heard that Ian Punnett had died. Ian Punnett, also just a great friend, a great guy. Did the My Talk morning show until I believe about 2012. And then, of course, I get a call from Bernie Lauer that Pat died on Christmas night, it sounds like. Just fell asleep and never woke up. But the one thing it did for me, I will tell you this, Timmy, and maybe it's something to take away from, the timing of life and all the rest of it. I am going to try to figure out a way to deal with the far right and the far left and not be so pissed off at these people anymore. Just take the thought that I lost a couple of great friends. And the reason I even tied those two together was because a couple of the TV stations got very political about their deaths. And that really pissed me off.
Right.
They did?
Why would they do that?
I don't know. I mean, it just, they have, if you don't agree with them, they have to do something. They got to keep you out of the deal, and you're canceled and blah, blah, blah. Look, if you're far left, you're far right, whatever. I like Democrats. I like Republicans. I like the centrists, all the rest of it. I'm trying to like the far right and the far left, but you people make it very difficult because you're so incredibly mean.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, look, people the press usually, it seemed like they would wait at least a while before. I don't think they ever have the right to bring anything up when somebody passes like that. They just don't. So the fact that they politicize this just well, I don't watch even local anymore. I'm sorry.
I can't do it. I cannot watch in news anymore. It just, the national news is a disaster. All they do is a lie.
Long gone.
Unbelievable.
There is something interesting, and I'll just try to take this in a little bit of a different direction. I know.
Sounds good to me.
A friend of mine who's on CCO Radio, Henry Lake, yesterday, great guy, just a wonderful guy. He was saying that how inappropriate he thought it was for Anderson Cooper and what's the other guy? Cohen.
Andy Cohen.
Cohen, to me, is kind of a buffoon sort of.
He's an idiot.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. But he's an entertainment guy, so who cares? But he took exception to the fact, Henry did, that that Anderson Cooper was getting blitzed on the air. And I have to agree, because these are the sorts of people that, want to wag their finger at you. And Anderson's I think he's a good anchor.
Anderson's a nice guy.
Obviously they all have their biases that show, but it's just this whole idea that they can one day tell you about the ills of society and the world. And it just seems to, their credibility takes a hit when they can just go and get loosey-goosey and fall on your ass, falling down drunk on the air. I don't know if he was like that, but he has that obnoxious giggle.
He does. Yeah.
Apparently he giggled a lot. But how do you take anybody like that seriously when, again, they should just stay in their lane? And I don't care. Oh, it's news, you've got to let loose. No. Did Dave Moore ever do that?
No, he did
ever
not.
do that? Did Peter Jennings or Brokaw or anybody? No. So it's just the definition of who these people are that deliver us the news that has changed, and the people we grew up with and we respected, those people are long gone. Those days are over with.
Well, Tim, everybody has to understand that since I was a little boy and Dave Moore came along, that news delivery in Minnesota is, to me, by far the best city in America.
Yeah.
There are other cities that are almost as good, but Minneapolis, St. Paul, I mean, you look at the Dave Moores and the Ron Majors and the Paul Majors and Frank Basilero and Jeff Passel
and Bill
Don
Carlson.
Shelby.
Bill Carlson, too. Yeah.
Shelby was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Most towns don't ever see talent like that. That's a fact.
What you do off air is whatever. If you want to get blitz, fine. I mean, I heard some stories about that old crew at CCO, when they always had those annual parades and how much fun they would have on those parades. But again, you're not one day, telling me, delivering this awful news, and then the next day, your credibility, as far as I'm concerned, takes the hit when you act like a horse's ass on the air. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. I don't ever watch that stuff. I can't watch that stuff. It's not
fun. I mean, it went out with me with Dick Clark years and years and years ago. So, New Year's Rockin' Eve. Remember that?
Yes, I also remember 2007, which he should not have done.
Oh, yeah, I know where you're going with this.
He had a stroke. Dick Clark had a stroke, and he comes on the air and goes, it's like, why would you put him through that? Come on.
Yeah.
And maybe he insisted. He might have insisted. I still got to do it. I've always done it. But he couldn't even talk.
No.
It was very sad.
No.
I always liked Dick Clark. I guess he was a prick, but I always liked him.
I heard that too. And there is if you can find it still, it's called the Rain Man Twins. And it's about these women, these sisters that grew up and just had this immense knowledge of everything, pop music, pop culture, the charts and all that sort of stuff. And Dick Clark became very good friends with these women and really showed this wonderful side of him, how much he really did truly care about these twins. I saw it on Amazon Prime years ago, so it could be out there on that still or somewhere. But I do believe it was called the Rain Man Twins. But it really did show a side of Dick Clark that I just never expected. Remember when Michael Moore, didn't he bother him at one point in one of his documentaries? I thought he
maybe
pissed Dick Clark off. And you saw Dick Clark pissed off there. But, I never saw much of him off the air. It was always band
right.
Or New Year's Rockin' Eve or whatever. But, that whole New Year's thing, it's kind of changed. I mean, now it's like, you just generally you fall asleep before the bell rings in at midnight. And, what we do every year, though, it's a wonderful tradition. We watch When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, did you?
Because, yes, every year, because two of the most important parts of that film take place during New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
The first time when they realize they're in love with each other, and the second time when they realize they're in love with each other. Because the first time, the relationship accidentally blossomed, and then they split apart, and then a year passed, and then when they got back together, then it was truly the thing that it broke the ice between the two. But it's such a wonderful movie, and again, two pivotal parts happen on New Year's Eve, so that's why it's become a New Year's Eve movie for me. So, movie wise, TV wise, has anybody seen anything that they want to share?
I will share this. That Catherine and I decided that it was 11 o'clock in the Atlantic Ocean, and that was close enough for us. So we went to bed.
Yeah, we went to bed before midnight.
Well, Tom watched 2 movies that he actually liked.
I did?
Yep. The Holiday with what's her face, who I can't
Jack
stand.
Black and Kate Winslet?
No, Yeah. I like Kate Winslet.
And
It's the other
Jude
one.
Law and
Oh,
What's the
Cameron
other one?
Diaz.
Oh,
Cameron Diaz.
Just hate her so much, but she was good in this.
She was.
He apparently
Yeah, that
made a
was good.
comeback, and it was a movie that Jamie Foxx, I think, was filming, and then he had that medical condition, and they actually brought in an extra or whoever the stand-in or whatever did a lot of his scenes to finish the film, but apparently he had such of a miserable time. Sounds like the person that starts to has a miserable time a lot of movies, and it's like, all right, I'm back to being retired after this. Good for you, Tom. Yeah, no. Why don't you like her?
I don't know. There's just something about she just overacts like crazy.
She does, yeah.
You know, it just seems like she's one of those people that just got a job because of something that probably wasn't talent related. I don't know what it could have been. Just saying.
I hear you. What's the other movie?
What was the other movie? It was
Christmas Chronicle.
Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really? Yeah, that's Kurt Russell.
Yep.
I believe there's two of them.
Yep.
And
I mean, when I first showed Tom The Holiday, which Alex told me about years ago, and I'm like, ugh, Cameron Diaz. No, I'm not going to watch it. No, I refuse. And then she's like, it's really good. You're going to like it. It's just a silly, fun. It's not really silly. It's a good movie. Anyway,
it is, yeah.
So I watched it and I was like, despite my just reaction to Cameron Diaz,
you just turned away 25% of the movie. You just kind of,
yeah. Exactly. So anyway, I really liked it. And I played the trailer and Tom goes, "This is a women's movie."
Oh no.
I did not.
Women might watch it.
No.
Is this 2024 speak? It's no longer a chick flick. It's a women's movie.
Anything but women movies.
You're lying as you
not
speak.
lying.
You are.
I need a GoPro on my hat at all times. With
that would be funny. That would be great.
Your
Live
police
stream
camera?
Tom's reaction.
I could do a whole
Body
YouTube
camera
channel with that.
Why don't we just repeat what you said to me over the weekend getting out of the elevator?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're on the elevator, going to the top. We get to our floor, and Catherine was just being very friendly to these two dogs.
It was in a little stroller.
It was in a little stroller. So dogs
So
in a stroller.
So sweet.
And I said, and I looked at a guy whose dog it was, and I said, God, I wish he was that nice to me. And she says in full voice to the guy, yeah, well, if he ever gets to be that cute, I will be.
Well, you started it. You started it.
You
started it. Trash talk me in the elevator. You're going to get it right back.
You.
Right back.
Yes,
So
dear.
another bit of entertainment that's coming up is we're going to be, I don't know, I thought it was supposed to be today. We're going to find out about the Epstein list.
Oh,
A
really?
lot of people are going to be slinking underground here.
Do you think that's
today.
true? I feel like wasn't like a partial list already
Yeah,
revealed
ages ago.
like years ago, and nobody cared and nothing happened except
You know,
for
you
Prince Andrew was like
see it
kicked
on-
out of the royal family or something.
Yeah.
And it's generally political, but whenever there's something going on where somebody's getting sanctimonious on one side or the other, you'll see what supposedly a purported list that's about this long online that lists every major star in Hollywood that's been to Epstein Island. Now, I want to know, what is the difference between people that have been to that island and this particular list? Because all that stuff was redacted. So they don't generally redact stuff unless it's very, very sensitive information, correct?
Mhm.
I mean, what is different about this particular list than the other so-called lists that we've seen?
Maybe you mentioned the two presidents that went to his island.
I don't know.
Bill Clinton went. I know that.
Well, who's the other one?
You'll find out when you watch the show. You'll
Abraham
find out.
Lincoln.
Well,
It was Abraham Lincoln.
I mean, anybody who might have gone there for some reason because he was trying to.
Well,
he
yeah,
was
that's-
like a manipulator. So I mean, it was somebody that went there like once. I'd be like, maybe you could give them the benefit of the doubt. But if somebody's been there like 6, 7, 10 times, I think that they know what's going on down
What's
there.
the thing is the list isn't going to do anything because people are going to be like, oh, I was there for a business meeting. Prove I wasn't. And we're not going to be able to prove they weren't. And there you go. And
So is it just a deal about media hype? Is that all it is again?
I think so, yes.
Well,
yeah.
the fact that one woman is in jail, despite all of the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, Epstein was in jail for a while, but we know
Yeah,
he
well,
was.
again,
we
I was
know
gonna
he was
say, let's
murdered.
qualify that. There's a woman in jail that's still alive.
Right.
Yeah,
And
right.
sh- And
Right.
not one person who has been, who did this, and the witnesses There was a witness. She was like ready to squeal on somebody, and she's dead.
Oh,
You know, I
what?
mean,
Wow.
it's just also ridiculously fishy, and nobody seems to care.
Yeah, I forget who said it, but the good line about that was that Epstein and Maxwell were found guilty of providing sex slaves to nobody.
Yeah, to nobody. Right.
Yeah.
Because, if we know that they were doing this, where are all the people who were participating? Apparently they don't exist.
Well, yes. Well, they're a protected class of people, I would guess.
But again, there's something to be said about Epstein getting dead in jail.
You got that right.
Absolutely.
Well, plus the fact they proved that Bill Clinton was over there at least twice.
Oh, at least.
At least twice, and probably a lot more than that.
So
the
he doesn't
other-
have a
other
history of
president-
sexual deviancy or anything like that.
Was that?
I said he doesn't have a history of sexual deviancy.
No.
Or anything.
No.
Well,
No, he's not a creep at all.
I will be shocked though if Jimmy Carter's name turns up. That's the guy.
Oh, that would never
he
happen.
is the total decent president. You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, it's true. Well, I was kind of surprised Donald Trump never went to his island. I would assume that he did, but he never went to his island.
Oh, see, now that's a name I've seen on the various lists over the years. I've always
But he
seen
has
Trump's
been.
name. Yeah, yeah, as far as I know, but
Well, the other thing is anyone can write up a list of names.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, these are lists that you could you could print it out and,
Mhm.
and do a screenshot of it or whatever on your computer and just post it and say these are the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I've never understood that. Let me go to an island to hang around with a bunch of whores. Oh
Mhm.
boy, that sounds fun.
Yeah. How long has Epstein been gone?
It's been a few
4
years.
I think 4.
Yeah,
Didn't
3 or
he die
4.
in
It sounds
20?
right.
I think he got killed in 2020, didn't he? I think.
He died in 2019. So yeah, it's
2019,
been
so it has been 4 years.
4.5 years.
Yep.
Wow, that's
Gee,
long
that's-
ago already. That's
Isn't
nuts.
that amazing?
And it's taken this long for any sort of, again, if it is indeed significant, which it may not be, it's taken that long for them to hold it back. And it's all because of another court case.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even a situation where like the media was requesting records or whatever, and they were fighting for it and finally won. I mean, it almost seems like it's accidental the way that this has come about, which is interesting. I mean, it's happening. So, but again, whatever the case may be, the media will just pounce on it like rabid animals and just interpret whatever the hell they want it to say.
No, I have a good question.
The way of the world.
Got a big question for you. Have we ever had anything that approached that in Minnesota?
Not really. I mean, I know, wasn't there the second time Arnie Carlson became governor, didn't he step in for somebody, a candidate who had some weird deal with a pool or something?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
yeah.
Cool.
The pool with the barely.
Would that be Rudy Perpich?
Yes.
No,
No.
it was not.
Oh.
It was
not.
John
It
something.
was John something. You're right.
John something?
It is John something. He's right.
Let's see. List of Minnesota governors.
But didn't Arnie, he stepped in last minute, and I think he actually won write-in, didn't he?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember that guy's name.
John something.
We have never had a John in office.
Well, no, he
didn't get to office.
He didn't. He was running.
Oh, he was running. So this would have been the same election as
Arnie
Carlson.
Well, Arnie stepped in, so he wasn't even running.
Was that his first term?
No, I think Arnie was done, and then he came back.
Oh, and then he came back.
He was 91 to 99 apparently, and then he didn't run.
Okay, so 95 would have been about when this guy did it. It had something to do with a swimming pool and a bunch of teenage girls, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think.
Let's see. What'd you say? 95. Well, there was a
John
4 election. Was that John Marty?
No,
John Marty.
Something.
Grunwald or something like that. Grunford.
Boy.
You guys either have a really, really bad memory or this has been scrubbed from the internet because.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was scrubbed because the guy was very wealthy.
Well, I mean, like the existence of this guy is not even.
Alex is leaving. There's no existence of Alex anymore. She's leaving. Goodbye, Alex.
No existence. I'm vanishing.
She's vanishing.
She's vanishing.
I do.
So there's no other sex scandals in Minnesota.
Got to be a lot.
Totally a sex scandal.
Wait, Andy, did you already say John Grunseth?
That's who it was.
Grunseth?
Exactly right. It was John Grunseth.
Well, was
Very
he
good.
even what they were saying?
I don't know, but it's the only John that I've. That
I
popped
think
up.
it was a suggestion of impropriety. I don't even know if anything.
Yeah, it was. If I recall correctly, it was a suggestion of impropriety, and
yeah,
that was
sex
sufficient.
scandal.
It was sufficient.
It was alleged
by
that
fiat. He was convicted by fiat.
he had a pool party at his home. It was alleged that his daughter entered the pool naked, and then he joined her also naked.
Gross.
And then when his daughter's friends, 12 and 13, refused to take off their swimsuits, he tried to take it off for them. I don't know if I don't think he was ever. He was never convicted of anything, but he also
He was out of the race, though. That's for sure. And I thought Arnie stepped in and won that race.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Well, he did. Like he admitted to engaging in adultery and quote other bad behavior in the past. So, I mean, he wasn't an innocent man.
Yeah, it says that he was a write-in. Carlson was a write-in.
Yep, there you go. So what year was that, Tevin?
1990.
Yep.
Oh, it was 1990.
Holy smokes, more than 30 years ago.
That's
no
why-
wonder we couldn't remember.
Yeah, it was
exactly.
It was a while ago.
Oh well.
I got to run. We
right,
will
Timmy.
see you on Friday.
Sounds good, Valley.
Happy 2024 to everybody.
Thank you.
2024. We're good to go on the second. It's my brother Todd's birthday. Happy birthday, Todd.
Oh, happy birthday, Todd.
There you go.
Charlie in Albuquerque says the Vikings love boat. How about that?
Oh, the love boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that going?
That was a
So,
thing.
There was that.
I sat next to a Viking player on a plane once going back into Minnesota. I don't even remember where I was. And they all had their hoodies on, the hood up. They were all just they all stayed very quiet on the plane. They didn't make any eye contact with anybody. Yeah, they were coming back to Minnesota for the trial.
Oh,
There was actually a trial, I believe. I think they had charges.
Oh, the love boat charges.
So, I believe so. There was
Doc, there were charges, weren't there?
Yeah, I think so. But
thought.
I don't remember any convictions for that. I mean,
they were harassing the staff, is what they were doing.
I know
No.
the company sued them because they damaged the boats and stuff
Yep.
like that, and so that's kind of how the whole
Unsurprising.
thing
Just
got a
started
little-
unraveling.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was.
Well,
Okay.
Weren't there a bunch of hookers on the
Yeah,
on
they
the
had
pontoon
starters.
boat?
But we like to call them starters.
Yeah.
Starters, yes,
Sex
starters.
workers, if you please.
That's right.
Sex workers. They flew him up from Miami because that's where Bryant McKinney was from. So he.
Oh, there you go.
Imported.
Oh. Yep. Yeah.
Dancer.
So he knew all the hookers.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was. That was his. It was his whole party. So there were some girls from Minnesota, I guess, that were on the boat. But yeah, they flew a bunch of his, I guess, favorites from Miami up. And he actually recently I saw a flyer a couple years ago where he was doing another boat party. I don't know if it got as exotic as the love boat, but he was at it again.
Or gentlemanly.
Yeah,
It's a
Yep.
gentleman's
It's
event.
one word for it.
Yeah, gentlemanly. Now we're talking.
So I heard that you had some conversations and questions about introversion earlier on the show today.
Who
And
I did?
Yeah, apparently you were talking about it's Introverts Day, apparently.
Oh yeah, it's Introverts Day. Yes, it is. You're absolutely right.
I was going to call in, but then all of a sudden I got a call from Jerry.
Oh, I see you, Andy, and I recognize your introversion.
Is that the traditional Introverts Day greeting?
I think that's what you're supposed to do.
I recognize your introversion, but I do it from afar.
Yes.
I'm like 75% introverted. I need
Yeah, I'd say so.
I need time alone.
Yeah.
I cannot be around people all the time. It's very
Well, I think that's really the most important distinction is, you know, introverts aren't necessarily like, you know, shy or anxious or anything like that. It's that being around people drains me.
Yes.
And the longer I'm around people and the more people there are, the more drained I am. It doesn't mean like, you know, I hate being around people. I just can't do it for too long.
Right.
But how's that different than an empath?
I don't care about the people. I just drained by them.
Wait, don't say that. That's sociopath. That's wrong. You don't want that one.
I care about some people.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like tonight, there's this. There was a party that we were supposed to go to last week, but it was delayed because of weather. So now it's tonight, and I'm like, ugh. Do I want to go? Do I have to go? We should go. We really should go. Ugh. Maybe we'll go really early and leave like 15 minutes. Just have an appetizer, drink, say hi,
and
then go. I mean, there's going to be a Motown band. It should be fun, but I have to like make myself go do things.
Yeah, I need just like decompression time, and I need a lot of it.
Yeah, if I'm at a party or something, sometimes I just go into the bathroom and just hang out for a while, just so I don't have to talk to people for even just 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's all you need sometimes.
Yeah, because I get sick of my own voice. I get sick of chit chat. I know you're not
Small
supposed
talk.
to, but
No, I hate small talk.
Yeah.
Why aren't you supposed to be sick of the chit chat, small talk? I mean, it's pointless.
It's what people do.
Like doing it.
You know, I like. You know, I'm an introvert. I need that. I need to rest. I get about 15, 20 minutes. I'm sort of worn out. You know, it emotionally just drains me. But what I like to do is to go to a party, and if you can find the person where you ask them a question and they give you a lecture that you learn something from,
Yeah,
that's the best thing. Then you ask them another question and you stand there and listen to another lecture. That's what I like.
Yeah, if you can hear them. I mean, parties are usually so loud you can't hear each other anyway.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, you're screaming at each other. That gets, I don't know, just all of it. It's just all too much.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. This is in the Wall Street Journal. By the way, I was looking for that story you referred to, Andy. It was in the Wall Street Journal, but now it's gone.
What story?
About the
introvert
the introvert deal. It was in here, but now I can't find it.
No,
So
they cycle through stories sometimes.
They do. Yeah, because they're so introverted. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Americans are canceling more of their streaming services. You guys contemplated, because there are, again, I brought it up. I have a friend who literally bought every single streaming service he could get his hands on.
Is his name Tom Barnard?
No.
Okay.
See, another shot at me right during the holidays.
Tom, you're a saint for living with it.
Yeah,
You're
it's
a saint.
unbelievable. It's nonstop harassment. But and now I forgot the hell I was going to say because she attacked me so viciously.
Wow. The
terrible.
guy that has all the subscriptions and he brought the ad-free ones.
Yeah, he bought all ad-free, and his bill every month is $2,000 to watch television.
That's insane.
Well, that's a load nuts.
It's a little much.
$2,000 a month to watch television.
Well, although I wonder how much was cable in the 90s?
I don't know.
I don't think it was
A
much
couple
more
$100
than
bucks.
Yeah, I mean, and that would all depend on how many premium channels you had and all that stuff. But a couple $100, that was probably the most.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see that.
I think that somebody should start a streaming service where you just pay for absolutely everything a la carte. Like, remember Apple Music? Everything was 99 cents or whatever it was. And just forget all of these services. Just have whatever it is you want to watch. You want to watch a series. They give you a break for watching the whole year, the whole season, and just watch everything just a la carte, because having 15 different streaming services is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, we got about 15.
Oh, you admit it.
Oh, yeah.
15? We have like 2, I think.
Didn't I tell you we had to be off the air by 11:45? Didn't I
You just
bring that
buried
up?
yourself, honey. It was not me.
Yeah, we have the Disney Plus and Hulu combination pack thing. And then we have Amazon because we have Amazon Prime anyway. So we only actively pay for one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Is Hulu part of Disney Plus now, too?
Yes. They combined them.
So if you get Hulu, you get Disney Plus, you get the ESPN like premium subscription and stuff like that as well. So they kind of bundled everything.
But Andy said to do that, you have to sign out of everything and start fresh with.
Oh, do you?
Was it is it Hulu or Disney Plus that you have to start fresh with, Andy?
I forget what we had to do, but it's like we had the Disney Plus subscription and we had Hulu. So what we had to do was we had to abandon those and start a new one that had both.
Okay.
I don't remember why we had to do that, but we did.
No, it definitely is a process because I have been getting Hulu for years and didn't realize that I also got Disney Plus. And then, so when I started like logging in, it wasn't just like download and sign in. You had to jump through a bunch of hoops.
Yep,
Oh,
exactly.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, it's nice that I should probably figure out how much I'm spending every month on that because it's probably a lot.
Well, we do submit it to our taxes.
Well, it was because it's part of my job to watch
Absolutely.
all that stuff.
We
It
talk
is.
about all that stuff all the time.
We do
It's a legitimate
indeed.
business expense.
All right. So what else has happened? Anything big in the local news in Minneapolis, St. Paul?
Biggest news I saw is now everybody's allowed to buy the blacked out license plates.
What?
Oh yeah, blackouts. Yeah, I saw that. What's that all about?
What's a blacked out license plate?
It's just like a normal license plate, except it's black with white letters.
With
And
white
apparently
letters.
that's the new trendy thing to do in Iowa and now Minnesota. I think it's $30 a year.
So it's just an inverted color license plate, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Those have been around forever. Kansas had those.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
They even, California had years ago. They had yellow on black.
Yeah, no, Minnesota. That was like the big news that for 2024 was January 1st. You can now buy the black license plate.
Fascinating.
That's great.
I don't really understand. Why would you even want that?
Because they make you stand out, I guess.
It's like vanity plates.
Yeah, basically.
Is it pandering to the black audience?
No,
I mean,
it's
it didn't move the needle for me.
But there's nothing wrong with it. The people search for a lot of things.
No, it's not
you know?
that sort of thing. I thought for sure. I mean, it kind of is because so how it is they got these inverted color license plates. 6 of them are based on our sports teams. We got one for the Vikings, Twins, Timberwolves, Lynx, Wild, and United, whatever that is.
Soccer.
Oh, okay. No wonder I've never heard of it. You mean Manchester United? But then there's one that has a red handprint that symbolizes the voices that were not heard for generations of missing and murdered Indigenous relatives.
Oh, Jesus.
Because, of course.
Well, that's big in Duluth.
Yes. Funds collected from that plate will go to it's going to take me a while to pronounce this. I can't even. I'm going to paste it into the chat in the. Here you go. Try to pronounce that.
Absolutely not.
Where? We don't see it.
It's
Yeah, she sees it. Gagige Miquendag Goziwag. That's my best.
I don't know.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
I will say it's easier to pronounce than Polish.
I think you can paste that into Google Translate or
Oh,
Google.
yeah. Good
Yeah.
idea.
And it will tell you what it
Let's
says.
see what Google Translate thinks. Let's see here. What does it stand for or whatever? Detect language. It's Shona, apparently.
Shona, which is a tribe of Native Americans.
Yes.
The Shona language is a Bantu language from Zimbabwe, so that's probably not right.
Oh,
sound
Zimbabwe.
right.
Yeah, so that can't be right.
I kind of doubt it.
It's either, what did we have? We had Dakota. We had
The Sioux, we had
Sioux, Minnewakan.
Metawakanton Sioux. Yep.
It means, according to this site, it means they will be remembered forever, but it doesn't say in what language.
Or who's going to be remembered?
Try just putting Native American.
It doesn't. Google Translate doesn't have. I don't think very few, if any.
Yeah, they're mostly focused on like Spanish, German, Polish.
Yeah,
like the
does
major.
it have? I wonder. Like,
Well,
it doesn't
lot of
have. I don't see Cherokee. I don't see Sioux. Well, the problem is, it's like in Switzerland. Every village has their own language. So it's like you can't even say, the Dakota language because there's like 1,000 Dakota languages.
Oh.
But it's also a lot of those aren't written languages.
That's
Right,
another
they were
thing.
not
Yeah. There's a lot of those languages they didn't have writing.
Oh.
My favorite of all time, though, when I was a kid, I was probably my late teens. So your average car back when I was in my late teens was what, about $3, $4, or $5 something. Cars were not that expensive when I was a kid, right?
So that was like what we'll say 1970.
Yeah, I'd say 1970.
Average cost of a car in 1970 was $3,500.
See, nailed it. $3, $4, $5. Nailed it. There was a guy in North Minneapolis, and I will never understand why he did this. I hope nobody ever attacked his car, but he was driving like $100,000. It was Aston Martin or something like that. Aston Martin. And his license plate said, and I quote, "My toy."
Yeah, that's a great way to get your car keyed.
It really is. I don't know if anybody ever did, but I was looking at it like, you're driving a $100,000 car when everybody else is driving a $3,500 car, and you put "my toy" on there. Really?
First car I ever bought was 1975.
Yeah, so I was probably about $4,000.
Oh God, no. First car I ever bought
Oh, you mean a
was
used
like
car?
$175, and it ran. It ran.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, we tried to buy a car for $500 for a friend of ours. Well, a friend of ours wanted to buy it, but our neighbors were selling it. And it was like, if you ever take your foot off the gas at any point, the engine will stall.
Well, that's okay.
And you have to restart the car. So it's like if you're at a stoplight, you have to have your foot on the brake to stop the car, but you have to be feeding it a little bit of gas. And we were like, I don't think this is what we want to go with.
Yeah, my brother Terry had a Volkswagen Thing. Anybody remembers those?
Yep, I do remember.
Yeah, every morning to get to school, I had to push him down the hill so that he could put the clutch in and start it that way because it didn't like cold weather.
It looks like a cross between a Humvee and like a toy car.
Yeah, it was kind of a Jeepy sort of thing. You
It
could take
was
off
kinda,
the top
Yep.
or something. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you. What is Wayfair? It's a company.
Wayfair is a furniture and home supplies.
It's like IKEA for rich people.
Yeah.
IKEA
like
for rich.
online only. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not
it is? Okay.
It has everything from fairly expensive but not really expensive to very inexpensive things.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's
Do you
IKEA for middle class people.
Do you think it was a good idea for the CEO of Wayfair? Wayfair's CEO wants staff to work harder.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's a CEO. That's what he
but
wants.
Good luck to him getting anybody to work hard these days, don't you think?
Well, wages are going up in a lot of states. Maybe they're like, hey, you can make more money. You should work a little harder.
What is it? Gen Z is the one right after you, Andy?
Yep.
And who's the one after that?
Alpha.
So it's got to be Gen Z. Apparently, they were complaining all morning long on the national news that they work way too hard and they do not want to work as hard as they're working. And then they showed the stats. They don't work hard now.
No. Gen Z, I don't hourly or weekly hours. No, not even close.
I just love that. They're the least hardworking people in America, and they're bitching on national TV that they work too hard. What's that all about? Why did that happen?
I think the definition of what qualifies as hard work has been greatly skewed.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, and another thing is there's hard work and there's meaningful work.
Yeah.
And a lot of Gen Z has like this soul crushing, like busy work where they're not actually accomplishing anything. And, you know, spending even 20 hours a week, just like, you know, dragging numbers from one spreadsheet to another has to be incredibly draining because you're not actually doing anything. You're just kind of like a cog in a machine that's spinning a wheel that does nothing.
Yeah.
And a lot of Gen Z is like that because of largely corporate and especially tech bloat, where these corporations have so much money in their budgets that they need to hire people to do useless jobs to justify the next year's budget.
Oh, really?
Yep. And that's why recently we've been seeing these like 50,000 person layoffs at big companies is because these budgets are going away. But that's how it works in corporations. Is if I say, okay, payroll is $10 million this year, so you got to give me $10 million so I can pay our employees. But then if I don't hire enough people and I only spend $8 million on payroll, the next year you're only going to give me $8 million. So what I do is I hire $2 million worth of worthless people, so you'll give me these extra $2 million.
Yeah, that does make sense. I want you to guess, by the way, because they showed these people complaining that they work way too hard, these Gen Z people. They were all pretty much the same. What were they?
Gen Z?
They were Gen Z. They were all women. Every one of them complained about working too hard was a woman.
Yeah, the tech bloat thing. Well, that's another thing is the corporations and the tech corporations, especially, they will hire underqualified women because it gives them more ESG dollars.
That's exactly what they said. Yep. That's exactly what they said. That the women didn't even want the jobs, but they had to hire them, so they did.
Yep.
Yeah.
What great benefit comes from that? Because it makes the women look bad, even though it's not their fault. But it makes them look bad.
Doesn't matter to the corporation what the women look like. It matters, they're getting another $500 million in BlackRock for doing it.
Well, there you go.
Andy.
Yes.
Our cheap little $20 headphones work.
Oh, well, good.
Headphones are great.
What happened to your old headphones? Or are you just testing them for fun?
I'm just testing them because remember, the plug-in was weird.
Well, these are my new headphones. These are ones.
No, those were old ones, but that's okay.
Oh, these are great.
Yeah, yours were disintegrating. He was leaving every morning. He'd come out and he'd have all these black flecks all around his head. I was like, I think we need to throw these.
It's time. You're
it's safe to say these are
end of life on the foam rubber.
All right, we got 2 minutes. Let's go around the room. Any closing arguments, statements, anything?
Yeah, we tried to watch Maestro.
Maestro.
That's a story of Leonard Bernstein, Bradley Cooper.
Oh yeah.
I thought that looked good.
He's made up well. He does an exceptional job. It's the photography and the filming the cinematography is unbelievably good, but way too much smoking and way too preachy. Too
much smoking.
Oh, I hate preachy movies. Ugh.
Yeah. So, and I'll follow your lead, Basham. I started watching Reacher over the holiday break. Tom, once again, you were right. Great recommendation. It's
my God, isn't he something?
Oh, he like the second. First of all, every episode it feels like he's taking his shirt off just because he's built like.
What a man! What a man! What a man! What a man!
He's huge.
You should like that. Seeing that guy.
I watched the first episode and he takes his shirt off and he's just chiseled, huge Officer Dave looking guy. And I was like, I need to go to the gym. Like I gotta get this is terrible.
Yeah, I remember.
Make him look like he's otherworldly though.
Well,
when he sticks his head into a car window, he looks enormous.
I remember a similar phenomenon to what Tevin was talking about. For some reason, whenever we went to Florida, we would watch Hoarders all the time.
Oh yeah, we did.
Nothing will make you want to clean your house more than watching Hoarders.
Yes.
Very true.
Or clean up your diet after watching 600 Pound Life.
600 Pound Life. Yeah, we used to watch that too.
Yeah.
What was his Dr. No or Now? Dr. Now.
Dr. Now, yeah.
Dr. No was James Bond, right?
James Bond. Yeah, it's true.
Wrong doctor.
All right. Well, that is going to do it. We'll talk to everybody on the morning show tomorrow, and we'll be back with this show tomorrow as well.